Together, they threw up a protective barrier, trying desperately to withstand its power. Tuyet Lian's power just wasn't strong enough. Against a beast this ferocious, there was no way she could hold on. We're toast. I can't believe Kangmang Mountain was hiding a monster like this. Liquian's own defensive shield was already starting to crack. I've heard there's always been a legend about a mountain god that lives here in Kangmang Mountain, and right on cue, their barrier shattered. The immense pressure sent both of them flying. The shockwave damaged Tuyet Lian's internal energy, but luckily Liquian caught her. The two of them scrambled back in fear, clinging to each other for dear life. Could this monster really be the legendary mountain god? Lian Yu, however, stepped forward, ready for a fight. Mountain god, my foot! To this lady, the giant monster was basically just a gross bug. So, without a moment's hesitation, she decided to charge straight at it. With a totally crazed smile, she unleashed her full power, ready to fight to the bitter end. Let's see if I don't roast you for dinner, Lian, Yu yelled, sliding right onto the beast's massive claw. She quickly powered up and swung down, trying to chop off its entire foot, but the cut just instantly vanished into thin air, leaving the monster completely unharmed. Lian Yu's face went pale with terror. Apparently not working wasn't in her battle plan. And while she was having her little panic attack, the monster raised its claw, ready to return the favor. Luckily, Xiaofan showed up just in time to yank her backward, saving her from a very nasty hit. He'd been watching from the sidelines and realized this beast was still holding back, hiding something. So he used his powers to basically say, "Get out from underground right now." He threw a punch packed with an absurd amount of power. It cracked the ground instantly, causing a whole chunk of the mountain to collapse into a giant pit from just that single hit. Down in the darkness, the eyes of a massive creature suddenly flashed. The beast's entire, hulking body finally appeared. It was as huge as a mountain and let out a world-shaking roar. Yin Feng was terrified just from hearing stories, but seeing the mountain god in person sent him into a full-blown panic. Master, it's the mountain god. It's the real mountain god. So it turns out the legendary being from all the old folk tales was actually real. Kong wasn't scared stiff, but he was definitely confused. Why in the world did a mountain god crawl out from underground? Then it hit him. Those iron chains on the altar must have been a seal, locking the mountain god inside the mountain. But who would set up a seal like that? The beast then opened its giant mouth and started vacuuming up everything around it. This was not good. This thing had been starving for a few hundred years. The moment it woke up, it wanted to swallow the entire mountain, creating a hurricane of wind that made it almost impossible to stand. Kong could clearly see the mountain god's insane power and urged everyone to get off the mountain. If they didn't leave, they were going to be its first meal. Seeing him just standing there, Li Taixuan shouted at him, "Xiaofan, we need to get out of here. It's way too dangerous." But he, for some reason, found this monster incredibly interesting. Perfect timing. I was just worried that my power level wasn't stable after my breakthrough. I can't believe this beast delivered itself to my doorstep to be my personal training dummy. He activated his newly absorbed power, ready to use the mountain god for practice. Today, he'd fight fire with fire. With that, he stomped his foot on the ground, building up his power. "I'll use you to solidify my Xiantian realm," he shouted with dramatic flair. Xiaofan launched himself right in front of the beast, landing a punch so hard it nearly knocked its head off. The mountain god was stunned, shaking its head to get its bearings. Then it roared, forming a huge ball of power in its mouth before lunging forward to attack. Xiaofan dodged it easily, his mind already running calculations. In his past life, he'd leveled up way too fast. He'd reached the immortal venerable realm in only 100 years. But that meant his foundation was shaky, which is how the 10 great heavenly venerates managed to ambush him. He learned his lesson. This time, he'd take it one step at a time. He would master every single stage of cultivation perfectly. With that, Xiaofan gathered his energy and unleashed a massive first heavenly layer attack, followed by a punch that echoed like thunder. Second heavenly layer. He saw his opponent stagger for just a moment. He instantly leaped into the air, launching a burning ball of magic. Third heavenly layer. Not missing his chance, Xiaofan clenched his fists, gathering spirit energy for a killer blow from above. Eighth heavenly layer. The explosion created a huge shockwave, pushing the monster to its absolute limit. Xiaofan was exhausted, but he gritted his teeth and poured his remaining energy into his hand, letting out a soft roar. Ninth heavenly layer. The power condensed into a blinding beam. It drilled right into the beast's core, tearing it in half before it dissolved into nothingness. Great perfection of the heavenly realm. All of the mountain god's spiritual power was instantly and completely absorbed by him. As the smoke cleared, there he stood, looking like a hero. His entire body was wrapped in a godlike aura as the leftover energy from the battle slowly seeped into its new master. Shui Lian, who had witnessed the entire spectacular beatdown, was now a little confused. The master had actually, for real, defeated the mountain god. But why did it feel like he was stronger, yet his aura wasn't as intense as when he first broke through? She stared at him with nothing but pure admiration and respect. Could this be that Xiantian thing the master was talking about? It was seriously mysterious and impossible to explain. After utterly defeating the mountain god, a supercharged Xiaofan landed. I have finally stabilized my Xiantian realm, and my aura is back under control. Xiaofan looked pretty pleased with himself, seeing his plan unfold just right. My foundation is now as solid as this entire Kangmang mountain unbreakable, Xiaofan explained, having noticed Lian Yu's worried expression. Your cultivation can't have a breakthrough like theirs can, he told her. It's because you're a demon cultivator. You can't absorb the heavenly energy I converted. Not wanting her to miss out, he then dropped the good news. The mountain spirit that was sealed for 100 years is the true source of all the demonic energy on Kangmang Mountain. So take this chance and absorb as much as you possibly can. Hearing that, she got giddy and started inhaling all the demonic energy from the spirit. This demonic energy is so pure. Ha ha ha. Well then, don't mind if I do. At that moment, Yin Feng and Xikong shared a psychic glance as the exact same thought flashed between them. The two of them dramatically fell to their knees, shouting, "Master Li, please accept us as your disciples." But Xiaofan was brutally honest in his assessment. Your aptitude isn't great. You're not even on the same level as Chu Sui Lian. You aren't even worthy of being my named disciples. If you want to join my sect, you can only start as low-level janitors. He wasn't completely heartless, though. But if you two perform well later, I'll reward you with the school's introductory level techniques. At this, the two saw a sliver of hope, bowing repeatedly to show their respect. We will never forget Master Li's kindness. Suddenly, Lian, you noticed the mountain spirit's corpse was starting to change. Its entire body burst into magical flames, gradually forming a single demon core. Just as Xiaofan looked over, it finished forming and shot straight up into the sky. She shouted like an excited kid for him to catch it. Master, look, that's the mountain spirit's essence. Without delay, he immediately launched tendrils of magic to chase after it. The spirit essence was quickly blocked and retrieved, zipping right back to him. This little trip to Kangmang Mountain had really exceeded his expectations. This was quite the haul. Not only did he break through to the Xiantian realm, he also got a 100-year-old demon core. He carefully handed it over to Li Wan with strict instructions. My business in Vanchao is done, but next I have to head to Hannan province to visit a friend of my father's. Trusting his friend's abilities, Xiaofan decided to ask for a favor. Class president, your physical constitution is special. Besides me, you're the only one who can use a profound yin body to suppress this 100-year demon core. So I was hoping you could help me by taking this demon core to my villa in Chuzhou. She happily agreed on the spot. Xiaofan, you've helped me so much. How could I possibly refuse a small favor like this? Shui Lian also volunteered to escort her. Teacher, I will go with her to Chuzhou. You can go to Hannan without any worries. By noon, the sky filled with dark clouds, and strong winds began to howl as if signaling a massive approaching storm. Just then, Xiaofan and Lian Yu returned home. He opened the door and called out, "Dad, I'm home." But all he got back was silence from the dark, empty room. She did a quick scan of the place and, finding no one, got a little worried. "Master, it's already afternoon. Why isn't your uncle home?" A sudden feeling of dread washed over him. He tried calling his dad's phone, but it didn't connect. "Sorry, the number you have dialed is temporarily unavailable." Meanwhile, at the Li family's ancestral home, the atmosphere was just as gloomy. Ming Zhong answers the phone, but when our hero asks, he has no idea where Changshan is right now. "Xiaofan, it's raining. Your dad came home early. He's not at the ancestral house." Hearing the kid's voice, he starts to get a bad feeling himself. He thanks the man, but his gut is twisting into knots. "I know, Uncle Ming Zhong." After hanging up, he immediately tries calling his dad again. "Beep, beep. Sorry, the number you have dialed is temporarily unavailable. Please try again later." A few more tries yield the same result, and his stomach drops, fearing the absolute worst has happened. Could it be his two dear uncles, just waiting for the right moment to strike? Xiaofan thinks it over. I let them off easy for my father's sake. He can't believe they'd be so ungrateful, to actually dare and go after his own father. Just as he's lost in thought, a call comes in. He jumps, snatches up the phone, and a taunting voice immediately cuts through the silence. "Li Xiaofan. Feeling a little anxious, are we?" He. The sound instantly makes his blood run cold. He knows this is big trouble. If you want to save your father, get to the abandoned building on the outskirts of town. On the other end, it's the judge, laughing like a complete maniac. Some young grandmaster you are, can't even protect your own father. It's actually kind of funny if you think about it. Ha ha ha. Yep, this is the guy who grabbed Changshan, and now he's barking orders. Remember, I'm only giving you half an hour, if you don't dare to show up. A sudden clap of thunder punctuates his threat. Then you can just wait to collect your father's corpse. And there he is, tied up tight, hanging in the air in total agony. Xiaofan is so furious he literally crushes the phone in his hand. You dare kidnap my father? Do you have a death wish? He and Lian Yu immediately jump in the car and peel out, ready to shut this lunatic down for good. The car tears down the deserted road heading out of the city. The gloomy sky finally starts to sprinkle with rain. The look on Xiaofan's face is terrifying. He pushes the car to its absolute limit, flying through the pouring rain. A massive bolt of lightning cracks the sky as the car perfectly screeches to a halt in front of the abandoned building. He doesn't waste a single second, stepping right out. An umbrella instantly pops open, shielding him from the heavy downpour. Lian Yu scurries behind him with the umbrella, keeping him dry. Up on the roof, the judge spots his figure and gets visibly excited. His piercing laughter mixes with the rolling thunder in a truly creepy duet. Xiaofan spots him in a second and sees his dad, tied up and captured. The judge stands in the rain, his voice dripping with sarcasm. Li Xiaofan, you've actually got some guts. I really thought you wouldn't dare to come. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. Ha ha ha. Changshan absolutely does not want his son caught up in this mess, yelling for him to stop. Xiaofan! Xiaofan! Don't come here! It's dangerous! Go! Hurry up and go! Of course, he's not about to stand by and watch his dad get tortured, so he tries to calm him down, Dad. Don't worry, I'm coming to save you right now. The judge just watches this touching father-son drama. Not wanting to keep them waiting, he leaps from the roof to say hello. Li Xiaofan, want to save your father? Not so fast. He lands gracefully before finally introducing himself. Today, I'll let you die knowing exactly who killed you. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the third master of the Xingyi sect. The judge you previously crippled, Tianxing, was my second martial brother. He steps right up to our hero, spelling out his whole evil plan. I came here originally to deliver a written challenge from my first martial brother, Situ Kuang. Xiaofan, for his part, is just confused by all the wild gesticulating, but I don't think that will be necessary. He gets lost in his own fantasy, laughing like a psycho. Because you're about to die right here by my hand. Ha ha ha, this weirdo just keeps on rambling. You must have just reached the Grandmaster realm, haven't you? Not only is your aura unstable, you're pathetically weak. What kind of young Grandmaster is this, anyway? Your strength is basically nothing. And here I was, actually holding out a little hope for you. You are a massive disappointment. He. And just to make sure our hero is properly terrified, he puts on his most dangerous-looking face. Do you have any idea how long I've been stuck at this Grandmaster level? 7 years. Then, the judge suddenly smashes his fist into a wall and screams, 7 years. And with that, he just goes nuts, punching the wall over and over while howling. I've been stuck here for 7 whole years. Lian Yu, watching this, is rapidly losing patience. Master, this guy is laughing 1 second and raging the next. Is he, completely insane? Is it possible his brain is broken or something? Then the judge scratches his head, pretending to think, before getting ready with another taunt. Li Xiaofan, killing you would be an absolute cakewalk. We wouldn't even need our senior disciple to step in. Just do us all a favor and off yourself. It'll save you a world of pain. After letting the guy finish his little rant, Xiaofan cut straight to the chase. You kidnapped my father. The guy lit up, admitting it instantly. Yeah, I did it. So what? You got a problem with that? Then he suddenly starts screaming, you think I won't kill you with a single punch? And just like that, he powers up, ready to lunge right at him. 5 Elements Treasure Fire Fist. Meanwhile, Chu Shan, who was supposed to be watching Cheng Shan, could only look on with worry from the sidelines. It seemed the power gap between the young master of Chuzhou and a grandmaster with 7 years under his belt was just gigantic. Meet the adjudicator, the supposed number 2 grandmaster, right behind the big boss. He tagged along just to see the show. This guy had the school's 12-form 5 elements fist down to a fiery, perfect art. Your average grandmaster was basically a walking punching bag for him. Once, some rookie master came to challenge the guy. The poor dude didn't even make it past the front step before one punch laid him out for good, just like today, or so he thought. Oh, he was absolutely certain our boy was going down. Li Xiaofan, he probably thought, how dare you be so cocky against my mighty fire cannon fist? The cannon fist belongs to fire, it's wild and powerful. Just wait till your head gets smashed. And with that, the adjudicator lunged forward, only to be dodged with 0 effort. He was genuinely shocked by that nimble footwork because his all-powerful lunge had been completely sidestepped by Xiaofan, so the wall behind them took the hit instead. To avoid total embarrassment, he tried to look tough. So, you can dodge my 5 elements fire cannon fist, But the real power of my school lies in the 24 forms of its fist arts. He powered up for an even bigger attack. Fierce tiger pounces on its prey, a thunderous fist flew, and was also easily dodged. Then he went all out, throwing a whole combo. Monkey snatches the moon, and inch-long serpent bites. But every single move was easily read by Xiaofan. Now tired, the old master finally started to worry about this kid's skill. What is going on? This kid's not even that fast. So why can't my 24 proud forms land a single hit on him? Seeing the master already out of breath, our hero just smirked. Is this really all you've got? Oh, you just know he couldn't handle that humiliation. He was about to pull out a desperation move. Challenging me in raw physical strength? You must have a death wish. Meanwhile, his sidekick, Jushan, was cheering him on, still a total believer. Li Xiaofan is digging his own grave, he thought. No doubt about it. After all, the adjudicator's physical power was legendary at their school. Not having seen what our hero could do, the little hype man was talking big. Second only to the big boss, nobody can beat him. That's what they said about the adjudicator. The big bad charged at Xiaofan one more time, ready for the finishing blow. Our hero just lifted a hand and slapped him so hard his face spun sideways. He went down headfirst, hitting the ground so hard that it actually cracked. And then he just stayed there, flat as a pancake, not moving a muscle. The adjudicator clumsily staggered back to his feet, furious with shame, and screamed, "Li Xiaofan!" But he wasn't getting a chance to ramble. Xiaofan just grabbed his face, then casually lifted the entire guy up with one hand, showing off some serious power. A tiny little ant dares to act tough in front of me? You messed with my father. That was your final mistake. He roared at him. In your next life, try not to be such a loudmouth. Then, without another word, he used his powers and made the guy explode. In the blink of an eye, not even a bone fragment was left. There was just flying debris from the shockwave, as if he'd simply disintegrated into dust. His cracked mask clattered to the ground, the only thing that was left of him. Jushan witnessed the whole horrifying spectacle, his entire body starting to shake in pure terror. This can't be happening. The adjudicator, the guy no one could beat. That he died just like that? He strained his eyes, but couldn't find a single shred of his master. In a flash, he'd been blown to pieces, leaving not even a scrap behind. His face went pale as a ghost, and he immediately looked for an escape route. But suddenly, a few iron bars flew past, blocking his way out. Lian, you had already shown up to rescue Changshan, and just happened to catch this guy. Where do you think you're going, you fat pig? And she did not hold back, kicking the portly Zushan right off the top of the building. Get down there! He landed right at Xiaofan's feet, and, thanks to his generous patting, he was mostly okay. But when he opened his eyes, his face went black with fear, and he started to stutter. Mr. Li? He stammered. Xiaofan just looked down at his pathetic state with pure contempt. Jushan, really wanting to keep his head, started bowing and begging. Mr. Li, I'm begging you, please spare my life. Kidnapping your father was all the adjudicator's idea. Since Xiaofan had his own plans, he decided to let the guy off the hook this one time. Go back and tell your boss, Situ Kuo, that I've received his little challenge. I'll be dropping by his school to see him very soon. Then he just roared one simple command, get lost, and Jushan obediently scrambled away like a kicked puppy. Yes, of course, I'm going right now, I'm gone. He immediately jumped up and ran for his life, terrified that if he was too slow, Xiaofan would change his mind and pop him. After dealing with those two clowns, Xiaofan rushed over to support Cheng Shan, who Lian Yu had already freed. Xiaofan, I'm fine. You were worried about me. He carefully sheltered his dad with an umbrella, helping him down. He only relaxed once his father was safely in the car. Xiaofan saw his father wasn't in great shape, but a quick once-over showed no major injuries. Thank goodness his dad was okay. The whole mess gave him a massive headache, because if not, forget Chushan, he would have wiped out their entire school to pay for it. Then the car finally got moving. The black clouds overhead decided to break up, and the downpour faded to a light drizzle. And just like that, all was calm again. The scene cuts to a train station, where Xiaofan and Lian Yu are about to skip town. The whole family, naturally, showed up for the dramatic farewell. To put his mind at ease, Mingjong stepped up with a guarantee. Xiaofan, Changshan and I have got this, so you can go without worrying. Besides, not all our clansmen enjoy being dogs for the former patriarch. Not everyone was willing to go along with all the shady stuff Li Chenglin and Li Chengfeng were pulling. In fact, most of them stayed neutral. He was practically beaming as he reported on the last few days' work. Now that Changshan is patriarch, more and more Li family members are happily falling in line to help out. Two of the Li family's servants who were traveling with them cheerfully chimed in. It's true. The new patriarch handles business fairly and treats every clan member with respect, not like the old one, who basically gobbled up all the profits for himself. Shan handed him a big bag, giving him some very careful instructions. Xiaofan, on this trip to Henan province, you have to visit my old friend for me. He gave me this bag 20 years ago. Apparently, he'd prepped everything, just hoping his son would have some manners. You bring this bag with you, and he'll know you're Li Taixuan's son. I've also packed all the precious medicinal herbs inside. Remember to give them to him, and if their family is in any trouble, you better help them out. Lian Yu, standing nearby, put on her best pouty face and was rewarded with a comforting pat on the head. And little Lian Yu, you need to take care of yourself out there, okay? After all the recent danger, he reminded his dad to be careful too. Dad, I know. Since you're staying in Yunzhou, you have to take care of yourself. He decided to leave Yin Feng behind as his dad's personal bodyguard. Yin Feng, while I'm out of Yunzhou, you will protect my father's life at all times. The guy accepted the order, promising to give it his all. Mr. Li, with me here, I absolutely will not let anything happen to Patriarch Li. Then, remembering the recent incident, our hero got angry again. And remember, I don't want any more judges showing up. You got it? I can gift you guys incredible power, but if you perform badly, I can take it back any time. The sheer force of his voice made the guy tremble and stammer out an oath. Mr. Li, I, Yin Feng, swear on my life that I will protect Patriarch Li's safety. The train was about to leave, so he could finally relax a little and get on with his business. Cheng Shan and Ming Zhong waved goodbye through the window, looking all sentimental. Xiaofan, have a safe trip. The train shot off towards its next destination. Lian Yu sat there, munching on snacks and watching the scenery to kill time. Suddenly, Xiaofan's phone rang. He saw the caller was Ouyang Pear and immediately picked up. A sweet voice came through the line. Xiaofan, you've been in Yunzhou for so long. When are you coming back to Chuzhou? He answered seriously. I just left for Hannan, so I can't return to Chuzhou for a while. The scene shifts to outside the Ouyang Group building in Chuzhou. She was pacing around her office, trying to figure out how to say what she wanted. Xiaofan, you have to go to Hannan? Actually, I have something I need your help with. Not wanting to waste any more time, she got straight to the point. I have a cousin in Henan. She has her own company, but she's run into some trouble recently. Someone is intentionally causing problems for her, so she called me for help. As her older cousin, I obviously couldn't just sit back and watch, so I sent some people over to help her. She tried to handle it quietly, but this mess was complicated. But the person giving her a hard time has a lot of pull in Hannan province. My guys went there and just got their butts kicked. They ended up coming back to Chuzhou totally defeated. This thing is a huge pain, and I'm out of ideas. That's why I'm asking you for help. Xiaofan, sensing her distress, agreed to lend a hand. All right, you and I are friends, so I'll help you out. Hearing him agree so quickly, Pear was thrilled. Xiaofan, if you can help me, that would be just perfect. She filled him in on the details. Right, my cousin's name is Jiang Xinran. She's from the Jiang family in Hannan province, but man, her family's had some bad luck. Her uncle told me some stories once. The Jiang family used to be a big-shot household in Hannan. My uncle, who's also my cousin's father, was once a respected grandmaster-level fighter. But disaster struck all because he tried to do the right thing many years ago. My uncle was protecting a friend and got seriously injured by someone from an even more terrifyingly powerful family. They tried tons of treatments, but nothing worked. He developed some hidden illness, and his strength just went right down the drain. Looking back, Borny realized just how tragic it was. This whole mess dragged the Jiang family from the high life straight down to rock bottom, leaving them as a third-rate clan. Now, the Jiang family's situation was critical. Other families in Hannan were circling them like sharks, ready to gobble them up at any moment. Hearing all this, the gears in Xiaofan's head finally started to turn. The Jiang family, Jiang Hunyin, the patriarch getting seriously hurt protecting a friend. Wait, wasn't this the exact family his father told him to repay in Hannan? He never would have guessed Jiang Hunyin was Odung Borni's cousin. A sly smile spread across his face. Life sure is full of weird coincidences. When his father was in Sochao, Odung Borni had taken care of everything for him, big or small, with incredible dedication. Before they parted, she even gave his father a watch. He owed her big time for her kindness, so he definitely had to step in and help. Ever since his rebirth, Odung Borni had been good to him, so he had to help her. Looks like this trip to Hannan was no longer optional. Suddenly, this guy Tu Kai appears in the train car, holding his phone and loudly live-streaming. My dearest fans, you all say you're used to seeing this young master's fancy VIP cars, yachts, and private jets. The guy had zero tact, deliberately speaking loudly to mock the other passengers. So today, I'm bringing you to ride with the common folk. The area we just passed was full of country bumpkins who couldn't even afford a seat. Xiaofan wanted absolutely nothing to do with this clown, trying to ignore him in the crowded, smelly car. As Tu Kai passed by the two of them, he did a double take, his eyes landing on Lian Yu. Oh yeah. He wasted no time trying to start a conversation. Hey little sister, those two horns on your head are pretty unique. Is that cosplay? You probably don't believe me. He kept showing off. I'm live streaming to tens of thousands of fans right now. Can I touch the horn on your head for a sec? Lian Yu wanted nothing to do with him, but the moron had the audacity to just grab one of the horns on her head. This move instantly set her off, but he was completely clueless, still feeling it up, thinking it felt surprisingly real. The texture wasn't half bad. How much did these horns of yours cost? Would you be willing to sell them to me? Fed up, Li Nu twisted to Kai's hand. Get lost, and stop bothering me. You want me to snap your arm? The sudden pain made him shriek. Ah! A sharp pain shot up his arm, forcing him to grit his teeth and yank his hand back with all his might. Ouch. The whole embarrassing scene was accidentally caught on his live stream. The great streamer couldn't even take on a little girl. How humiliating. It must be an act. His fans were probably saying the acting was incredible. Once he realized that, the smile on Tu Kai's face vanished. Sweat beaded on his forehead as he forced a laugh. Yep, you guys totally saw right through it. My screaming just now was all for the show's effect. Just then, Tu Kai accidentally bumped into a beat-up old bag on the floor. His vulgar tone was enough to make even the most patient person angry. My dear fans, you have to see what I just found. A filthy, tattered suitcase, and it even comes with its own poor bum. As if that wasn't enough, he bent down to ask Xiaofan, did you fish this thing out of a dumpster? It was like Tu Kai had no morals at all, utterly disgusted. What a total cheapskate, he muttered. Xiaofan's patience was at its absolute limit, but he never expected his opponent's next move to be even dumber. He kicked the suitcase, yelling, don't block this young master's way. Xiaofan generously gave the guy one last chance to do the right thing. Put the suitcase back where it was for me. Apparently, this guy had never been punched before because his voice was still dripping with arrogance. My dearest fans, did you all hear that? This little punk is telling this young master to put his raggedy, trash-picked suitcase back where it was. He then shamelessly bragged about his own stuff. And I'm not even going to complain about you getting my limited edition soccer cleats dirty. Then he pulled a fat stack of cash out of his wallet. At your age, I can't believe there are people who can't even afford a bag. Tu Kai then threw the cash in his face with the most insolent look possible. There, this young master is feeling charitable today, so I'll bless you with some money. Go buy a new suitcase. He stomped on the other guy's stuff without a hint of remorse, and he just kept bragging in that superior tone. Kid, do you have any idea who this young master is? I'm live streaming right now. You dare speak to me like that? Believe me, I can make you go viral in an instant, and not in a good way. Xiaofan couldn't take it anymore and just roared, Scram! Now, whether the guy was just incredibly weak or what, but that one word sent him flying. He fell with a thud onto the train car floor, but the genius actually thought he fell because the train lurched. Oh my god, it's so shaky. What kind of driving is this? I can't believe this young master was just knocked over by a weird gust of wind. Just then, his phone started ringing. Tu Kai shot Xiaofan a dark look. Consider yourself lucky. Don't let this young master see you again, or else you'll pay. Turns out it was his girlfriend calling to check on him. Babe, are you on the train yet? Me and my bestie are waiting for you at the East Han-Nam station. Babe, I'm on the train, he cooed. Just a few more hours to Han-Nam province. All while mentally whining about bumping into some poor, scruffy kid. What awful luck. Lian Yu, on the other hand, was fuming. Master, that man has some serious nerve. I'll go kill him. Her brilliant plan was immediately shot down. No need to deal with such a lowly insect. With murder off the table, she stress-ate a piece of cake to calm down. Whatever, I should have just broken his arm. Then, a wonderfully mischievous idea sparked in that pretty little head of hers. She hopped off her seat, offering a quick excuse. Master, I need to use the restroom. But strangely, Lian Yu headed in the exact same direction Tu Kai had just gone. Lian Yu channeled all her energy, her body glowing intensely before she transformed into a powerful and ferocious adult version of herself. Heh. After absorbing all that demonic energy from the mountain god, I can finally transform whenever I want. A little detail she'd conveniently forgotten to tell her master. And there he was. She spotted Tu Kai right in front of her, her voice now expertly adjusted to sound like a gentle whisper. Hey there, handsome. Hearing someone call out to him, Tu Kai immediately turned around. Lian Yu cranked up the charm. It's a long trip. Want to come over here and have some fun? He saw a hot girl and practically drooled. This young master was truly blessed by the internet gods. He then immediately started bragging to his online followers that not only was he handsome, this guy's ego is on a roll. He even gets a beautiful woman to fall into his lap, and naturally, he sticks a phone in her face for more views, even though she is clearly not having it. His followers were all over it, spamming rockets and cheering for their young master to conquer the beautiful woman. What a show. But surprise, Lian, you grabs him by the shirt, drags him into another room, and the door slams shut immediately. Shukai, bless his heart, thinks he's about to get lucky. He's all like, hey now, no need to be hasty. You want to do something exciting? On the train? But Lian, you just glares at him, her eyes dark and red. Oh yeah, she says. What's about to happen is going to be very exciting. From inside the locked room came a symphony of strange screams. Ah, ouch, hey, yup. Shukai was getting his face rearranged by Lian Yu, begging her, stop, don't hit me anymore. But his words were totally useless. She was way too busy having fun, furiously unleashing all her anger from his little stunt earlier. A few minutes later, the sealed door swings open. Shukai gets tossed out like yesterday's garbage, immediately grabbing the attention of the train crew. Seeing his saviors, he quickly starts yelling, she attacked me! Help me! For the love of God, help me! The two staff members see the emergency and run right over. Sir, we're the crew for this trip. What happened here? Who hit you? He points to the closed room in front of them. A psycho, violent girl, black hair, red clothes, really tall. You guys need to go get her for me. Hearing this, the two employees don't overthink it and just knock. Hey, in there, you've been accused of intentional assault. Her grumpy face appears. I'm ordering you to come out. What do you people want from me? I was just going to the bathroom. The scene they walked into didn't quite match the report, leading to some serious confusion. A little girl? Sir, are you sure you didn't make a mistake? How could a little girl possibly hit you? Tukai's face, now a lovely shade of purple, was full of protest. No way, that violent woman was definitely in the restroom. He then instantly recognized Lian Yu as the one who'd twisted his arm. It's you. Where'd that psycho girl who hit me go? You know her or something? The young train attendant asked Lian Yu, little girl, did you happen to see a lady with black hair and a red dress come out of here? She immediately put on the waterworks, sobbing, Mister, it's just me here. There's no big sister. I'm just a kid. How could a child possibly assault someone? Hearing that answer, Tukai completely lost it. No way. This little brat almost broke my arm a minute ago. She's definitely working with that violent woman. I'm taking her into custody. Before he could make a move, his body was yanked backwards. Stop right there. And just like that, Tukai went from the accuser to the accused. You, a grown man, bullying a child in broad daylight. You want me to arrest you first? The two staff members immediately hauled him away, not forgetting to comfort her. Little girl, don't be scared. You can go now. Right up to the last second, she kept playing the victim. Boo-hoo, I'm so scared. Please don't take me. The second they turned their backs, the tears vanished into thin air. Heh. Anyone who dares to anger this old lady is lucky to walk away without being completely destroyed. Then she happily skipped back to her seat. Xiaofan suddenly asked her, did you go stir up trouble again? Knowing she was caught red-handed, she quickly admitted her guilt. Haha, I promise I won't do it again. All of a sudden, his phone rang a few times. A voice came through, putting on airs. Hello, is this Li Xiaofan? I work for Murong Huansha. You need to come here immediately. Huansha came back to the country on her own and has offended a big-shot director. You need to get over here and apologize to him now. All she got in return were 2 cold words. Not free. Then he just hung up. Lian Yu asked with a serious face, Master, who was that on the phone? Was it that big celebrity you protected back in Chuzhou? Her compassionate side kicked in as she offered a warning. Master, I really think that woman is just obsessed with your handsome face. You absolutely cannot fall into her trap. It's better to just stay far away from her. Xiaofan thought about it without saying a word. Then the phone in his pocket buzzed again. A man with a raspy, middle-aged voice spoke. Mr. Li, my sincerest apologies. This is a small matter that I shouldn't bother you with. But my old friend's daughter, Mu Ronghuan Sha, has offended a major family in Hannam province and is in big trouble. He continued to listen for another moment. I'm currently overseas and can't get back. I was wondering if you could. By this point, he was too bored to answer and just handed the phone to Lian Yu. You take it. She took her orders and answered with an incredibly aggressive attitude. Hello? Tell that woman Mu Rong, whatever her name is, that she couldn't even get in line to be next to my master. Tell her to stop bugging him, or I'll catch her and turn her into a shish kebab. Having completed her mission perfectly, she smiled like a flower in bloom. Done. Sitting next to her, Xiaofan drifted off into his own little world of deep thoughts. It was true that Murong Huansha had confessed her feelings for him, but a supreme immortal like him had long since moved past mortal trivialities. How could he possibly be bothered by something like earthly love? And of course, he's thinking of another girl, which is rich, considering his heart supposedly only has room for Shui Shi. Then another voice joins the party over the phone. Xiaofan, it's Huansha. This mess is all on me. It has nothing to do with you. Sha's voice turns into a scream fest. Don't listen to them, don't come here, and cue the rude dude snatching the phone away. He gets on the line, doing his best impression of a gangster boss. Yo, you little punk. You're the reason my investment went bust. If it wasn't for you, my losses wouldn't have been this huge. If you dare get involved with Sha this time, I'll make sure your entire family ends up dead. That threat zips right into Xiaofan's ear. His whole family dead? Huh. Was that supposed to be a threat? In that case, I'd really love to meet you. The guy on the other end just growls, his angry words trying to punch through the phone. I'm telling you now, he seethes. Show up, and you'll face consequences you can't handle. After that charming bit of phone terrorism, our hero has a change of plans. His next stop was supposed to be Han to repay the Jiang family. But that's not exactly time-sensitive, so he decides to help Sha with her little problem first. Meanwhile, in some fancy modern house, a guy named Xiaobin points right in someone's face, yelling curses. Sha, have some decency, calling for backup right in front of me. Her Ice Queen expression just makes him want to conquer her even more. Sure, he's a famous director, but he can only get away with this kind of thing with second- and third-rate actresses. But don't get cocky, Sha. An A-list actress like you is someone I can't touch, but that doesn't mean no one can touch you. Liu Mei, her face pale with fear, tries to salvage the situation. Director Zhao, those phone calls were just a misunderstanding, but her jumbled words were just annoying, buzzing in his ears. He couldn't care less about a single word or some misunderstanding. His focus was Sha. Last time overseas, we were working with the great director Lin, but you ditched the set to meet some guy, forcing our crew to replace you as the lead. Unable to hold it in, he let out a furious roar, each word stabbing the heavy air around them. Do you know we did a massive amount of publicity for that film? Most fans knew you were the lead, Sha, and were incredibly excited for you. But what happened? After the movie came out, not only was the box office a disaster, we were flooded with hateful comments. I've been grinding in this business for so many years, and this is the first time I've ever faced such a colossal failure. You completely shredded my veteran reputation. His sharp scolding didn't stop, his finger trembling with rage as he pointed right at Sha. Even more importantly, I got completely chewed out by the investors behind the whole project. The source of all this misery was you, Sha. Xiaobin actually shudders, reliving the horrifying scene. The investor told me then to never even dream of another penny in funding, and that other investors would refuse to back me too. If the young master has no investors, then how am I supposed to shoot any movies? I knelt on the ground begging for over an hour before the young master gave me another chance. And with that, his tone switches to negotiation. Sha, all you need to do is have a drink with this investor of mine. Just make sure he's happy and well served. After that, everything will be easy to sort out. His mind was practically buzzing with devious little schemes. For my career and my future, I have to get Sha today, no matter what. Then the guy has the nerve to lecture her. One must know how to repay kindness. I'm just asking you to have a meal with President Ni, not asking you to die. Do you really need to be so dramatic about it? What gives you the right to refuse? Do you even have that right? Like a relentless wave, Zhao Bin just kept going. Let me tell you, if it wasn't for you last time, that movie never would have been such a disaster. How could the box office have been so pathetic? This was all your fault. You dragged the entire film crew down. Now, the only way to salvage this is for you to have a meal with President Ni. It's the usual approach for negotiations, using a carrot and a stick. It's just one meal. If you just do this, everyone on the film crew will be eternally grateful to you. From now on, any script I have, you can pick whatever role you want, I absolutely swear it. He was also starting to dream of bigger things. Furthermore, my next step is a plan to get you into Hollywood, to launch you all over the world, to make you a world-famous superstar. So, how about it? Sha coldly shut down all his plans with 2 words. I refuse. She calmly countered, just asking me to have dinner? If it's really that simple, why don't you go yourself? Don't think I don't know what you're plotting. Let me tell you, Zhao, I wouldn't agree even if it killed me. Zhao Bin slammed the table, completely losing his cool. This is all because of you. Haven't you given a single thought to the film crew? How can you be so selfish? Liu Mei, standing behind him, was completely speechless. Well, today was supposed to be Sha's big apology to director Zhao, but her blunt personality somehow managed to make him want her dead instead. And that Li Xiaofan guy is totally useless, so many calls, and not a single offer to help. So much for Sha being devoted to him. When it really mattered, he was a total waste of space. That's when Sha started listing all his screw-ups, saying loud and clear, Director Zhao, stop with the hypocritical act. Even if I wasn't here, this movie of yours would be an absolute train wreck. Let's start with the script. You cheaped out and hired 3 hack writers, so the plot is a mess with 100 plot holes. And don't get me started on the crew. Your special effects team is amateur hour, and the producers cut corners on everything. It's all so sloppy. From the very beginning, you were just trying to fool the audience into watching this thing. The number one thing people complain about is the garbage you call a movie. You get that? For the first time, he'd been told off so directly, and his comeback was barely a whisper. No actor has ever dared to be so rude to me before. Murong Huan Sha, you better watch your mouth. Lu Mei quickly jumped in to put out the fire. Director Zhao, please calm down. Huan Sha just wasn't thinking straight. She was really showing her dedication as a manager. Man, she knew exactly how much Huan Sha had sacrificed to get here. She couldn't just stand by and watch her career go up in flames right here and now. She had to help her. Then, she bowed meekly to Zhao Bin. Director Zhao, please don't be angry. Huan Sha didn't dare come over because she's worried about that investor, the young Master Ni. I heard young Master Ni is quite the playboy. The Ni family just arrived in Tian'an from North Jiangbei, and they mean business. He's definitely got his eyes on Huan Sha this time. The director really didn't want to hear it. All right, cut the chatter. If you have something to say, spit it out. So Lu Mei laid out her plan. Actually, I have a classmate in Tian'an who's also from a rich family. They all hang out together. I can ask him to step in, and maybe young Master Ni will show him some respect. Go easy on Huan Sha. What do you think? He gave his orders like a king. Do whatever you want, but we're all going together. If that classmate of yours fails, Murong Huan Sha had better make young Master Ni very, very happy. Keep him satisfied. If not, she can forget about ever working in showbiz again. I'll team up with all the other big directors. We'll blacklist you completely. You'll go from a star to a nobody overnight, a joke that everyone despises. His mind was already scheming up all the ways to ruin Huan Sha. Who does Murong Huan Sha think she is, acting so high and mighty? He was secretly hoping young Master Ni would humiliate her. That way, he could feel like he'd done a favor for the guy. But hey, if this manager says her classmate is also some rich kid, maybe he knows young Master Ni, so it was worth giving her a chance. Seeing her manager try so hard, Huan Sha decided to back down a little. All right, I'll do this for Sister Lu's sake, she said, but she wasn't forgetting her own terms. But if that guy Nia tries to force me into anything, I swear I'll go down fighting before I let him get his way. Liu Mei was thrilled and got right to work. Great, I'll call my classmate right now. A moment later, she came back with good news. This is fantastic, Huan Sha. My classmate agreed to help us out this time. Just as they were about to leave, a familiar voice rang out. A tiny little heir, a nobody, and you're all making such a big deal out of it. Ha ha. Huan Sha's face lit up when she heard that voice. That voice! When she walked outside, she saw Xiaofan and Lian Yu already waiting. Huan Sha shouted with joy, Xiaofan! She ran over and threw her arms around him, her heart filled with relief to see the man she loved. It's really him. The man she'd been dreaming about day and night had finally appeared. This moment felt just like a dream. Lian Yu froze at the sight, her eyes wide with disbelief at what was happening. She used her tiny frame to try and pull Huan Sha off of him. Master, I knew this woman was just after your good looks. Get off my master right now. Xiaofan pushed her away and said in a low voice, I already know what happened. I'm here now. No one is going to bully you. In her eyes, he was a hero saving his damsel in distress. Zhao Bin, who'd been shoved to the side, looked on with a dark expression, noticing the guy was carrying a beat-up old suitcase. And here he was thinking Murong Huan Sha had called in someone impressive. Turns out it's just some poor country bumpkin. The director's snobbery was basically programmed into him. You little brat, I clearly warned you not to get involved, and you still dared to show up. And you want to handle this? What exactly are you going to handle it with? You think you're worthy of saying something like that? What gives you the right? Have you even looked in a mirror to see what a loser you are? The kid didn't miss a beat and shot right back. And what gives you the right to act so tough in front of me? Who the hell is this Nai family you're talking about anyway? When they meet him, they have to kneel and beg for forgiveness. Or so he says. Meanwhile, this other dude gets poked once or twice and just completely loses it. Would you shut your mouth? What's with all this arrogance? Do you have any idea what you're even saying? How dare you speak so lightly of the great and powerful Nie family? One of young Master Nie's fingers is thicker than your entire leg. A single strand of his hair could crush you, and with his ego fully inflated, he launched into another ridiculous rant. Fine, you really like to hear yourself talk, don't you? Then let's you and I go see young Master Nie. Let's see how tough you act in front of him. Seeing the drama was about to escalate, Liu Mei quickly jumped in to play peacemaker. Huang Sha, I'm not trying to criticize you. If you fell for some amazing, successful guy, I wouldn't say a thing. But this Li Xiaofan is just some poor kid from the sticks. He couldn't possibly be more average. Her words were brutal, but in her mind, totally practical. Listen to your big sister. A guy like him isn't worthy of you. You two are from different worlds. Hearing her family talk about her man like that, Huang Sha immediately tried to explain. Sister Liu, just listen to me. But before she could finish, Liu Mei was already pointing a finger at the guy. Li Xiaofan, I have a question for you. Where are you from? What does your family do? He looked annoyed but answered anyway. Yunzhou, the Li family. It was a simple answer, but it gave her all the ammunition she needed. Huang Sha, did you hear that? Yunzhou is some tiny town in the countryside, and she'd certainly never heard of any Li family. A poor kid with no money and no status dares to talk about taking responsibility. Liu Mei kept right on lecturing Xiaofan for his arrogant attitude. Do you have any idea that Huang Sha is in this mess because of you? Do you possess any self-awareness at all? The Nai family just moved here, and you have the nerve to claim their young master will kneel before you? There's a limit to how clueless one person can be. She turned to leave, but couldn't resist throwing one last piece of advice at Xiaofan. Know your place. When you see young Master Ni later, you will apologize to him personally. Huang Sha, listening from the side, finally had enough and stepped in. Sister Liu, please believe me. Xiaofan. He's not an ordinary person. He was the one who saved me from kidnappers when I was overseas. She glanced over at Xiaofan, who was just standing there silently, which was a little concerning. When I first met Li Xiaofan, I thought the same way you do. But ever since he saved me from that raging fire at the abandoned construction site, I see him completely differently. Huang Sha could never forget the image of him coolly carrying her to safety. Of course, she couldn't help but fall hopelessly in love with him after that. But no matter what heroic tale she told, Liu Mei wasn't buying any of it. Huang Sha, I think this kid has completely brainwashed you. I heard it was the vice master of the Xingyi sect who saved you. What does this guy have to do with it? After a long, awkward silence, Xiaofan decided to speak again. And of course, it was something designed to shock everyone. If it weren't for the fact that I'm helping Murong Huansha, the two of you wouldn't even be qualified to speak to me. He shot a disdainful look toward Liu Mei and Zhao Bin. This great Nai family you're all so obsessed with. In my eyes, they're nothing but dogs. When they see me, they will get on their knees and beg for their lives. The other guy retorted confidently. Is that so? Well, I hope you have that same big talk energy when you meet young Master Nai in a few minutes. He was already daydreaming about it. Just wait till I hand this kid over. Young Master Ni has some very cruel ways of dealing with people like him. Liu Mei gave him her best armchair psychologist take. Honestly, I know a ton of young men who are far more impressive than you are, and every single one of them is more humble and restrained. She flat out accused him of being all talk. Do you really think spouting off limitless nonsense is how you prove how powerful you are? Don't you realize the more you do this, the more shallow and ignorant you look? But Xiaofan didn't seem to hear a single word. He closed his eyes and gave an order. Enough with the useless chatter. Let's go. My time is limited. Walking past, Zhao Bin just had to get in one last sarcastic jab. Ugh. He hopped into his own camper van, still acting smug. Don't let this broke loser into my vehicle. I'm afraid he'll get the seats dirty. Then he yelled at his driver, "Let's go!" followed by a truly villainous laugh. In the car, everyone just stared in different directions, each plotting their next move. Suddenly, their van slammed to a stop right next to a pair of approaching legs. The automatic door slid open, revealing Shu Kai, his face a mess of bruises, holding up a phone and filming everything. As soon as he saw who was in the van, he broke into a massive, sleazy smile, not even trying to hide his disgusting intentions. Liu Li, I'm doing a vlog now. Famous star Murong Huansha and big-time director caught in a secret affair. This topic is guaranteed to get me a ton of views and clicks. I literally jumped off the high-speed train and raced over here just for this. With that, Shu Kai stepped onto the van, turned, and aimed the phone at her for his live stream. Hello, my friends, the famous star and the big director, caught in the act. Murong Huansha personally invited me here to patch things up. Send me some of those gift rockets. Number 666. Let's get a whole wave of them. We're going live any second now. Two phones shoved in her face forced a pained smile from the poor girl. And of course, the comment section for the beautiful Hoan Sa was absolutely exploding. A true goddess, they typed. Our superstar, Murong Hoan Sa. Master is so cool. I can't believe even a huge celebrity needs him to come solve her conflicts. Liu Mei turned her head, annoyed, and snapped at them. Hey, stop taking pictures. Our Hoan Sa is a huge star, and you're totally ruining her vibe. Tu Kai looked annoyed, but hey, he still turned his phone off. Then she immediately flipped a switch, patting the seat beside her with a syrupy sweet smile and a big favor to ask. Tu Kai, the young master is way out of our league. We can't talk to him, so we had to invite you. No matter what, you absolutely have to help me with this. Oh, you better believe he puffed out his chest and pointed a thumb at himself. Relax, it's just a one-word and done kind of thing. You guys don't need to worry about it. Tu Kai sat down next to her, coolly crossing his legs as he dropped some gossip. By the way, I heard the Nie family took a huge loss in Chuchao recently. Word is, some young punk ran them completely out of town, so ever since they got to Han Nam, young Master Ni has been in a foul mood. Even I have to walk on eggshells around him. Meanwhile, Tu Fam in the back just stared out the window, as if he couldn't hear a word of that oh-so-subtle warning. I'm telling you, it's better not to bring someone who doesn't know their place. Lu Mei instantly spun around to glare at him, her gentle voice long gone. I didn't want to bring him either, but this little brat just had to open his mouth and say that the young master is basically a dog who would have to kneel and beg for mercy in front of him. Tu Kai looked like he'd been struck by lightning, yelling in disbelief. He said, "What?" Fists clenched and head about to explode. He jumped up and glared at the back seat, roaring, "Oh, for crying out loud, why is it this poor country bumpkin again? What gorilla escaped from the zoo and let you out? And this little horned girl, too. Why are you two everywhere I go?" Tu Kai pointed a dismissive finger. "You dare run your mouth about young Master Ni? You must have a death wish. You want to bet I won't throw you out of this car window right now?" Annoyed by all the noise, Tu Fam just frowned and glanced over. "If you get any louder, I'll be the one throwing you out the window." Oh, that did it. Tu Kai was absolutely furious, his eyes bloodshot as he rolled up his sleeves. "Who the hell do you think you are, talking to me like that?" Seeing this, a sweating Li Mei, sitting right next to him, jumped in to stop the fight. Stop it, Tu Kai. Don't lower yourself to his level, what's the point? He's just some poor kid from the countryside who's never seen the world. Fighting him will only make you look bad." It seemed her appeal to his ego worked. His attitude softened, though he still couldn't stand the guy sitting behind him. For Lu Mei's sake, I'll let it slide this once. But if you talk crazy again, I won't be so nice. Suddenly, she switched targets, her eyes landing on Hon-sa in the back. "Hon-sa, I'm not trying to criticize you, but look at this boyfriend of yours." Sigh. "With a guy like that, your whole life is basically wasted. Tu Kai is 100 times better than him." Facing Lian Yu's disapproving glare, Hon-sa squeezed between them, shyly taking his arm to defend him. "You guys don't understand. Tu Fam is the most amazing man in the world. Meeting him was a blessing I earned in a past life. Tu Fam, don't listen to Sister Lu. She doesn't have a clue what she's talking about." Lian Yu just frowned, completely unimpressed, probably thinking this girl was beyond help. Liu Mei heard her and just let out a long sigh. Ugh. Still not getting Hon-sa's logic, she turned to look outside. "My ability to judge character is 100 times better than yours. What's not to get? I'm trying to give you good advice, and you refuse to listen. You'll regret this later." Hearing this, Tu Kai eagerly chimed in. "Exactly. It's like putting a beautiful flower in a pile of cow dung. I never knew our big star had such unique taste." In the parking lot of a luxurious hotel, Tu Kai stepped out of the car, followed by Lu Mei. He jabbed a finger toward Tu Fam, sneering, "Hey, country boy, when you meet young Master Ni, you better be on your best behavior. If you make him mad, you'll be on your knees begging for forgiveness." As the sun set, the scene shifted to a high-end hotel room. Inside the massive space, two men were facing each other. An older-looking man named Zhao Bin was smiling, trying his best to suck up to the person sitting across from him. "Young Master Ni, just as you instructed, I've brought Murong Hoen-sa here. I've done everything that I was supposed to do. You can have your fun with her however you want. If she dares to disobey, just watch how I handle her." The man with the half ponytail just waved his hand dismissively. "All right. Since you clearly know your place, I'll continue to fund your movies." Zhao Bin was all smiles, clasping his hands together in thanks. He praised the first young master for his mercy, then paused, looking conflicted. "But what?" the deep voice demanded. Zhao Bin stood ramrod straight, his expression turning sour as he explained. "Well, there's this poor kid who's latched onto Murong Huansha, and she's stubbornly attached to him too. I already gave him a warning," he insisted. "I told him Murong Huansha was your girl and that he needed to stay far away." Wrinkles formed on his pudgy face as he recounted the story, but he completely ignored me. He even had the gall to say that if the first young master met him, he'd have to kneel down and call him grandpa. He'd have to beg for his life. Said you were just a tiny ant, totally unworthy of Murong Huansha. Hearing this, Nijing shot upright, bristling with rage. "Who dares to be so arrogant? I'm going to destroy him." The young master slammed his hand on the chair's armrest, furious. "Fine. I want to see this god who dares to talk so big." Just then, from outside the private room, Xiaofan and his friends strolled in confidently. Lu Mei flashed a fawning, greasy smile at Zhao Bin. "Director Zhao, your family isn't exactly royalty here, but my friend is well connected. He can definitely talk to the first young master." Shu Kai's ego inflated. He adjusted his clothes and gave a cool smile. "Don't worry, just leave it to me." He gestured to his two live-streaming minions. "Keep those phones rolling." Then Shu Kai stared right into the camera. "My dearest fans, Watch me live as I single-handedly resolve this conflict between a superstar and a famous director. He rushed forward into the room. The online chat went absolutely nuts, with digital rockets flying across the screen, following his back. First, young master, I've heard all about the situation, he announced. As Shu Kai approached Ni Jing, his whole demeanor changed to one of pure sycophancy. This is all because of some poor kid named Li Fan who won't leave Murong Huansha alone. He acted as if he was genuinely trying to smooth things over. He pleaded softly, I'll have Murong Huansha apologize to you personally. For my sake, let's just drop this, okay? I'm streaming live right now. Ni Jing didn't let him finish, sending a single punch that launched the man straight into the nearest wall. He glared down with contempt at the man crumpled at his feet. Who the hell do you think you are? Your face isn't worth a single penny here. Shu Kai, terrified, began bowing over and over. Yes, yes, of course. You're absolutely right, first young master. I'm worthless. It was my fault for being so reckless. Please, punish me. Seeing things had gone south, he immediately tried to shift the blame. Actually, this really isn't my fault. If you have to blame someone, blame that rotten kid. He's the one who won't leave Murong Huansha alone. Hearing this, Zhao Bin jumped in, eager to add more fuel to the fire. First young master, calm down. What he's saying is right. The source of this whole problem is that dirt-poor kid with the last name Li. If it wasn't for him, the money you invested in the film crew wouldn't be going down the drain. They failed to notice Ni Jing's expression getting darker and darker until he slammed his hand down, his face flushed with uncontrollable rage. Damn it, you two keep saying Li this and Li that. Don't you know the one person I hate most right now has the last name Li? How dare you say that name to me? Zhao Bin broke into a cold sweat and tried to calm him down. First, young master, relax. I'll drag him over here to apologize for his crimes. With that, he whipped around, pointing a finger right at Xiaofan. You rotten kid. Get over here and kneel, kowtow and apologize to the first young master. With the camera still live, Shu Kai also turned on him. Kneel down and beg for forgiveness. After saying his piece, he turned his face back towards his phone. He gave a thumbs up. On the live stream, Shu Kai cradled his swollen face, grinning at the endless stream of gifts pouring in. My dear fans, I personally tested this out with my own face. The first young master is truly top tier. That punch was absolutely magnificent. Shu Kai then suddenly spun around and pointed straight at Xiaofan. But now, it's time to change the title of this livestream. Because now I'm broadcasting how the first young master is going to destroy this broke country bumpkin. Both live streaming phones swiveled to face Xiaofan. The chat room seemed to explode at his appearance. The comments started flying. Oh my god, isn't that the hick from the train? So he's the one who started all this drama between Murong Huansha and the director. That kid was acting all high and mighty on the subway earlier, wasn't he? Looks like payback's here. Could he really be Murong Huansha's scandalous boyfriend? No way. A dirt-poor loser like him is trying to steal my goddess? Get away from her. Xiaofan's face was dark and unreadable. He just stood there in complete silence. Seeing her chance, Liu Mei strutted over to point an accusing finger. She couldn't believe even young Master Zhao couldn't handle young Master Ni. Li Xiaofan, do you see the truth now? You and Huang Sha are from different worlds. You are not worthy of her. She was getting all worked up now, yelling at him. But what about him? So arrogant, claiming young Master Ni would have to kneel and beg for his life. Now, standing right in front of the guy, would he dare say those words again? Zhao Bin, seeing his opening, pushed forward, his old chubby face dripping with contempt. Li Xiaofan, weren't you acting all high and mighty a minute ago? Well, young Master Ni is sitting right here. Why don't you show us that bravado again? Behind him, Ni Jing sat with his back turned. But hearing that name made him jump. Shu Kai, thinking he was clever, started dissing Xiaofan while sucking up to Ni Jing. Li Xiaofan, I bet you're already scared speechless. Young Master Ni may have just moved here from Zhongbei, but he's from a top-tier family. And young Master Ni is a key figure among the rich kids of Tianan. He's second only to the great young master song. A country bumpkin like you insulting him? You must have a death wish. Looking at the viewer count in the room, the guy couldn't help but celebrate internally. Ah, the power of a celebrity. His livestream had just broken 1 million viewers, an all-time high. He was absolutely gloating. Oh, Li Xiaofan, I'm going to make you kneel and apologize to me and young Master Ni in front of 1 million people. I'm going to completely crush your pride. Xiaofan, on the other hand, just stayed calm and smirked. I'll say it again. The noble Ni family you all worship? They're less than scum to me. In front of everyone, he raised his voice and repeated himself. When young Master Ni sees me, he will kneel on the ground and beg for his life. With Huang Sha looking on like he was a god, he stepped forward, a faint breeze kicking up his clothes heroically. So, what if I'm arrogant? It's because I've earned the right to be. Zhao Bin, a little spooked by this display, pointed a shaky finger. Young Master Nai, did you hear all that? He turned to Nijing to tattle. This kid's arrogance has no limits anymore. He dares talk like that in front of you? He has absolutely no respect for you. If you don't teach him a brutal lesson, how will you maintain your authority as young Master Ni? Shukai chimed in with his own threats. That's right. You picked a fight with young Master Ni, which means you're an enemy to every rich kid in all of Tianan. You won't even know what hit you. Please, young Master Ni, destroy this punk. With young Master Ni's status and power, getting rid of this kid would be as easy as flipping his hand. Lu Mei, enjoying the show from the side, decided to add her 2 cents. Well, you reap what you sow. Who can save you now? Just you watch, Huang Sha. Li Xiaofan is about to get beaten to death by young Master Ni. But Xiaofan couldn't be bothered with this peanut gallery. He just dropped a quiet, ominous hint. Don't you guys find it a little strange? I've been in this room for a while now, and your young Master Ni is so scared he won't even turn his head. You know why that is? Shukai heard this and burst out laughing like it was the funniest joke ever. What? Scared to even look at you? Young Master Ni just can't be bothered to look at you. That's all. He was laughing so hard he couldn't see the pair of feet approaching his face. And he just kept talking. Young Master Nai, am I right? Nijing slammed a kick straight into Shukai, sending him flying. He roared, You idiot! Do you have any idea what kind of trouble you've caused me? He finally turned his head to see Xiaofan standing there, and his face went pale with fear. Li Xiaofan? Why is it him? Our Ni family ran all the way to Tianan, so why is he here? Is he never going to let us go? Beads of sweat started rolling down his forehead. Nijing gritted his teeth, his mind flashing back. Back then, even his uncle, the powerful martial artist Ni Hu, was killed by Li Xiaofan with a single slap. How could he possibly dare to provoke this guy? The more he stewed on it, the madder he got, turning back to just unload on Tu Kai Tat. Young Master Ni, why are you hitting me? Ow, please stop. But Nijing acted like he couldn't hear a word of it, gritting his teeth, grabbing the guy's collar, and just mentally cursing him out. This whole mess was supposed to be over. The great Nie family can't touch Li Xiaofan, so can't they at least hide from the guy? You want to die, but I'm not ready to. Damn you, just damn you. The two goons up front, live streaming the whole thing, were so scared they couldn't even manage a single word. Zhao Bin's face went pale. Seeing things were not going his way, he tried to cook up an excuse to bail. If there's nothing else, I'll just be going now. But Nijing wasn't about to let the guy off easy. He marched over and delivered a slap so epic it sent the fatso tumbling. With a face like thunder, he grabbed that shiny bald head and just started letting him have it. It was all their fault, these two screw-ups who'd gotten him into this mess with a terrifying killer. The second the thought finished, his knees slammed onto the ground. Nijing started bowing his head to Xiaofan over and over, begging for his life in the most pathetic way possible. Mr. Li, I'm so sorry, it's all my fault. Please, your grace, be merciful and spare me. Xiaofan just turned to look at the bewildered Lu Mei. He asked her coldly, I told you before, didn't I? This all-powerful young Master Nai that you guys are so impressed by would have to bow and beg for his life if he met me. Do you believe me now? She was so terrified by the scene, she just stood there shaking, pale and stammering. Then right in front of Huang Sa, he casually winds up and smacks Nijing across the face. You think he'd dare say a word? With a swollen face, holding his cheek, the guy somehow still managed to suck up. For Mr. Li to hit me is truly an honor. Xiaofan was completely over it, turning away and giving a cold order regarding some disrespect toward Murong Huang Sa. Get over there and slap yourself. The guy actually nodded eagerly, trying to plaster on a smile. Yes, yes. Meanwhile, Director Zhao and Shu Kai's crew looked like they'd just seen a ghost, staring in absolute terror. Xiaofan just stomped his foot once and made them all jump. Suddenly, a hand shot out and snatched the recording phone from a guy in a pink shirt. Shu Kai, apparently thinking his camera was some kind of magic shield, started pointing his finger arrogantly. Li Xiaofan, what do you think you're doing? I'm live streaming this. You wouldn't dare hit me. All while a blue energy started gathering in Xiaofan's hand. A crisp smack echoed through the room. Xiaofan swung at Shu Kai. So hard the phone flew right into the guy's own cheek. The slap sent Shu Kai spinning to the ground in a daze, his phone and tripod shattering into a million pieces. After dealing with that mess, he turned toward a terrified Zhao Bin, who was biting his lip, and continued the interrogation. And as for you, weren't you talking all that trash on the phone? Something about wiping out my entire family? The guy flinched, sweat beading on his forehead, not daring to resist as Xiaofan grabbed him by the collar. A series of energy-filled slaps rained down on that chubby face. Next time, I'll snap your neck. With that, he casually tossed Zhao Bin aside, who landed with the sound of a slab of meat hitting the floor. But then, suddenly, a phone started ringing in his pocket. Voice still trembling, he hesitantly answered, "Hello?" And just like that, his face lit up in total disbelief. "What? Are you serious? The Wang family's people are on their way?" In front of everyone, Zhao Bin, looking like he'd just been saved, happily announced, "Li Xiaofan, you're full of surprises. I'll admit it. I completely misjudged you. I never thought a guy pretending to be some poor nobody could be this formidable. But no matter how tough you are, can you really compare to the Wang family from the capital? Not even his swollen cheeks or runny nose could hide his absolute glee. Let me tell you something. An old friend in the business just called me. People from the Wang family are coming here right now. They're coming here specially to invest in my film. You hit me, and the Wang family will absolutely never forgive you." Xiaofan just stood in the same spot, looking completely and utterly bored by this whole speech. He ignored the fat guy's arrogant finger-pointing. In this world, brute force doesn't solve everything, after all. And for a simple-minded musclehead like him, it would be laughably easy for a real big shot to crush him. Seeing the tide turn, Shu Kai got visibly excited, thinking, the Wang family? Aren't they way more powerful than even the Ni family? In front of the Wang family, a little clan like the Ni's is nothing more than an ant. The two families weren't even in the same league. Ni Jing stopped his self-punishment, a little smirk on his face as he started scheming quietly. He figured the Wang family arriving so quickly could definitely help the Nie family wash away this humiliating stain. Li Xiaofan, you are so dead. Zhao Bin was so relaxed he even pulled out a cigarette and lit it, pointing with a triumphant look on his face. You little punk, you've got guts being arrogant with us. Let's just see how arrogant you are when the Wang family gets here. For them to crush a broke nobody like you, that's going to take all of 2 seconds. Xiaofan paid no attention to what he was saying. His face just darkened as he looked down. Did I say you could stand up? Zhao Bin was spooked by his aura for a second, but then his arrogance kicked right back in, refusing to look weak. You little punk, you're about to die and you're still talking tough. When the Wang family gets here, I'll make you beg for mercy on your knees. Xiaofan just coldly shook his head and raised a hand. The Wang family from the capital? Never heard of them. Model. Xiaofan shoved his hands in his pockets, puffing out his chest. If they dare show up, they'll be obediently listening to me, or they'll end up just like the rest of you. Director Zhao was terrified, but he tried to put on a brave face. All right, we'll just see who's on their knees slapping their own face in a minute. Behind him, Liu Mei was fuming with contempt. To her, Li Xiaofan was nothing more than some poor country bumpkin. He had no connections in Han province, so what was he going to fight them with? Where did he get the nerve to challenge the Wang family? Her fists trembled. The Wang family of the imperial capital was a terrifying power, levels above the Nie family. Even in the capital, they were absolute titans. The more she thought, the angrier she got, filled with regret. And here was the Wang family, looking to invest in director Zhao's film. She couldn't believe director Zhao was actually about to turn the tables at such a crucial moment, but it was too bad. After all this chaos, there was no way he would cast Murong Huansha now. The thought was crushing her. She spun on Xiaofan and screamed, Li Xiaofan, if you hadn't interfered, we might have had a chance to fix this. You have no power, so why are you making such a stupid mess of everything? You've completely destroyed Huansha's career. He had no idea what this woman was even thinking, and pointed a finger at Ni Jing, who flinched. For her so-called career, you were just going to serve Murong Huansha up to this animal? Liu Mei, feeling no remorse, tried to justify her actions. You think I wanted to do that? There wasn't any other choice. In any case, it's better than you angering the entire Wang family. I can't wait to see how you survive this ordeal, how you'll bear the Wang family's anger. Hearing her, Xiaofan just let out a cold laugh. Whatever. He ignored Liu Mei and turned back to Huansha. On this entire planet, nothing exists that would dare call itself a challenge to me. He gently touched the expensive leather chair, then immediately sat down in it. Xiaofan crossed his legs, looking completely relaxed, with Lian Yu on his left and Huansha on his right, looking like some kind of king. In front of him was a mob of nobodies just waiting for the show. Liu Mei's face was twisted with rage and contempt. You really have no idea what you're up against. Let's see you cry later. Director Zhao smirked, sure of his victory, brimming with confidence. The Wang family is legendary. Shu Kai and Ni Jing looked just as smug, their faces painted with triumphant mockery. Compared to them, Li Xiaofan was less than a pebble at the foot of a mountain, too small to even get stuck to your shoe. And there he sat, perfectly calm, like a mole cricket trying to challenge a divine dragon. Wasn't this whole thing just a complete joke? If I wasn't helping Murong Huansha, I wouldn't even bother with you people, let alone waste my energy slapping your faces. The clicking of high heels echoed from the hallway, announcing the arrival everyone had been waiting for. Hearing the sound, Director Zhao beamed with relief. They're here. He reached for the doorknob with his chubby hands and pulled it open. Seeing the two women who appeared, he couldn't hide his glee as he respectfully invited them in. "Miss Wang, you're finally here. Please, come in, come in." The woman in front wore a wool coat. Her face showed signs of age but radiated elegance. This was Wang Fei. The young woman behind her was Wang Zihan. As they entered, Director Zhao began his introduction, laying the flattery on thick. "Madame Wang, I have long heard of the great Wang family. I am Director Zhao, the one you're looking for. I've directed many films in this country, and I can guarantee that if you invest your money in me, it will absolutely." Before the man could even finish his sentence, she impatiently cut him off. "Get out of the way. I'm not here to see you." Every word from Wang Fei left Director Zhao completely speechless. "A third-rate director like you has no right to speak to me." She walked straight towards Xiaofan and bowed respectfully to greet him. "Mr. Li, hello. I am Wang Fei. This is my niece, Wang Zihan. I am representing the Wang family, and I wish to befriend you. Would that be acceptable?" This scene made Ni Jing and his whole crew stand there, their jaws hanging wide open. They were all silently wondering, how is this even possible? The almighty Wang family, who wouldn't even give the Ni family the time of day, was now actively trying to befriend Li Xiaofan, and so respectfully too. Director Zhao was furious, his eyes bloodshot with jealousy. This kid had somehow earned the Wang family's favor talk about winning the lottery. Besides, latching onto a powerhouse like the Wang family meant you'd be set for life. If it were him, he would have agreed in a heartbeat. Xiaofan's expression didn't change as he nonchalantly waved a hand. "The Wang family? Never heard of them. Not just any mole cricket has the right to be my friend." Lian Yu, standing beside him, added, "That's right. Who do you think you are? You can't just become the master's friend whenever you want." Zhao Bin was grinding his teeth, fists clenched so tight he looked like he might actually combust. "Is this guy for real with this act?" He fumed internally. "Just cut the crap already. The royal Wang family came all the way to your door to befriend you, and you still say no? Even for show, that's way too much." Behind the two fuming guys, Ni Jing was on the ground, pale and screaming on the inside. What gave Li Xiaofan the right to be so arrogant, to not even give the Wang family a second thought? Could his backing be more than just the Chu family? But hearing Xiaofan, Wang Fei didn't look angry at all. Instead, her smile just got wider, playing right along. "Mr. Li, you're absolutely right," she said. "You're a major figure. Befriending me is beneath you, but the future is long. I'll show you the sincerity of our Wang family." Still showing total respect, she bowed and offered something to him with both hands. "This is my contact number. Please keep it." With that, Wang Fei took Zinan's hand, turned, and left the room, leaving a bright gold business card on the table. Outside, under a clear blue sky, the driver bowed respectfully to the two members of the Wang family. Zinan, walking behind, was a little confused. "Auntie, that Li Xiaofan guy, who does he think he is? Talking so arrogantly, like we're nothing." Once her niece was in the car, she calmly explained, "Zihan, you don't understand. Mr. Li is truly a massive figure. He's qualified to be our equal." But even hearing that, the girl wasn't convinced. "What kind of big shot is he? I don't see it at all. He looks so ordinary, not even close to the rich young masters I know in the capital." Wang Fei crossed her legs, gazing out the window, replaying the scene from the martial arts arena in her mind. "There are some things you just don't get. I was working in Chuzhou for a while. By sheer luck, I saw the city's top boss host an underground fighting tournament. At the time, countless masters got wrecked by the Nie family's top fighter, Nie Hu. But then Li Xiaofan came on stage and ended him with one casual palm strike. That's something only a near grandmaster could do. Mr. Li is, at the very least, a grandmaster-level expert." Her sharp eyes turned serious. Wang Fei let Zinan in on a secret. Months ago, the Nie family, propped up by Nie Hu, was a powerhouse. They ran wild in Chuzhou, even brazenly sending assassins after the head of the Chu family. But now, the Nie family has been chased out to Hannan province by the Chu family, completely ruined, and the reason for that is because the Chu family allied with Mr. Li. She turned to look directly at her naive niece, explaining the real reason for everything. "I reported this to the family head immediately. The clan took it very seriously and told me to connect with Mr. Li, no matter the cost. A single grandmaster can lead a family to glory into the ranks of the top 5 families. Just remember this, having a connection with Mr. Li is our greatest fortune." Zinan was still a little skeptical but didn't ask more, just listening quietly. "It's just a shame I had other business and had to leave Chuzhou back then. After that, I tried every possible way to find out where Mr. Li had gone. The moment I heard he was in Hannan, I rushed right over. The luxury car sped down the road, matching the Wang family's sheer determination. Even though Mr. Li rejected me this time, I won't give up. Our Wang family must persuade him with our sincerity." Wang Fei frowned, a look of annoyance on her face. The funny thing is, Those little nobodies have no idea what kind of terrifying existence they're dealing with, and they still dared to act all high and mighty in front of Mr. Li. They really don't know their own limits. Back in the VIP room, Xiaofan stood up and walked toward Zhao Bin. The man was so scared he started stammering, respectfully clasping his hands and bowing his head. Mr. Li. Xiaofan's face darkened, ready to settle all debts. I said it before, who gave you permission to stand up? With a terrifying aura, Xiaofan roared, Kneel! Zhao Bin immediately dropped to the floor, his entire chubby body seeming to melt into the ground. Xiaofan slammed a foot on the man's head, mocking him with a barrage of questions. You wanted to ruin Murong Huansha's future? You wanted to team up with other directors against her? Zhao Bin's face was a mess of tears and snot as he begged. I wouldn't dare! I'll never do it again! Xiaofan looked down, his expression unchanging as spirit energy gathered in his hand. It's a little late for that now. A powerful green energy radiated from his body, forming into two blades before shooting down towards the man. Today, I'll teach you a little lesson for daring to cut off Murong Huansha's future. I'll cut off yours first. Let's see you direct any movies without your hands. Xiaofan then kicked Zhao Bin in the face, knocking out several teeth. As everyone watched in horror, he casually flicked his leg, sending the fat man flying. Get out! The other two guys saw this and immediately dropped to the ground, kneeling and shaking uncontrollably. Ni Jing resumed slapping his own face as they all begged in unison. Mr. Li, I was wrong. Please spare my life. Don't chop off my hands. Tu Kai was in the middle of slamming his forehead on the floor when a pair of designer shoes appeared right in front of his face. Tu Pham just left them all kneeling there, coldly walking out with Lian Yu and the crew without a second thought. Hong Sa, trotting alongside, kept sneaking nervous glances his way. Tu Pham's methods were definitely ruthless, which was, a little shocking. And just like that, her whole attitude flipped. Suddenly she's blushing, tucking her hair back. Yep, that's the sweet smell of a new crush. But hey, the guy actually stood up for her. She felt like she was floating in a happy little bubble. Back in the hotel room, Tu Kai risked a peek over his shoulder, checking to see if the coast was clear. Seeing Tu Pham was gone, he wiped his brow with a huge sigh of relief. The nightmare was finally over. Ni Jing just slumped beside him, too exhausted to speak. Tu Kai looked down at his phone, apparently having learned absolutely nothing from the whole ordeal. His face immediately twisted with rage, hungry for revenge. Young Master Ni, are you guys just going to let that punk get away with this? I seriously cannot swallow this insult. We may not be a match for him, but we still have young Master Tong. This is Han Nam, so what if he's some big shot from the capital? All we need to do is team up and quietly take the guy out. He barely finished the sentence before a fireball came screaming right toward his arm. Ni Jing's face went completely pale, his jaw on the floor as he stared at where the attack came from. A loud blast echoed through the room. Boom! He was shaking like a leaf, totally speechless. In the gloomy chaos, the figure of a little girl appeared with a creepy laugh. Meanwhile, outside in the hotel lobby, Tu Pham and his friends were just casually basking in the sunlight. Lu Mai scrambled after them from behind, raising a hand and yelling, Wait! He shot a cold look over his shoulder. He didn't even turn around, but she still gave a full, formal bow. Li Taixuan, I'm sorry. I am sincerely sorry. Hoang Sa, stuck in the middle, looked super uncomfortable and tried to smooth things over. Tu Pham, thanks for your help back there. How about I treat you to dinner tonight? But opposite of Hong Sa's warm offer, Tu Pham kept his bored expression and just walked away. No thanks. Meanwhile, everything that just went down in that room had Lian Yu feeling a little puzzled. Master, how could you let those little gnats provoke you? If it were me, I'd have eaten them by now. Why did you spare them? Tu Pham strolled through the golden light, closing his eyes dramatically. They are nothing but a swarm of worldly ants. I've never cared about them. In my eyes, only our members can exist alongside the celestial temple, to shine with the sun and moon. Then his mood suddenly darkened, and a bizarre aura started radiating from his whole body. Let's go. My father just sent me a text. Jiang Bafu's daughter is still waiting for me at the station. Over at the spotless subway station with its sleek modern trains, people were grabbing their luggage. An announcement echoed over the speakers. The train for East Hanam Station has arrived. Please collect your luggage and valuables and exit through the doors on the left. Tu Pham, suitcase in hand, blended with Lian Yu into the rushing river of people. Outside, a luxury car was parked. Standing beside it were two beautiful girls who looked like they'd been waiting for a very long time. Han Nian, is the person you're waiting for ever going to show up? Trin Yim complained, checking her watch impatiently. Who is this guy that he can make you wait here all day? Han Yen looked less than thrilled herself, but she calmly explained to her friend. Nyem, he's the son of one of my father's old friends. He's taking the train from Vanshou. Believe me, if my father hadn't insisted so many times, I wouldn't be waiting another second. I actually have a contract negotiation to get to today, but if we wait any longer, I'm probably going to miss it. Hearing that, Trin Yem waved her hand dismissively. Van Chao? Isn't that some tiny town out in the sticks? Han Yen, why would some guy from the countryside just show up to see you? He's definitely after something. You need to be smarter than that. Just then, she suddenly remembered something and quickly pulled out her phone to look it up. Speaking of which, my cousin just called and said she invited someone to help me out and told me to treat them well. She gave a faint, helpless smile, her thoughts a total jumble. Her cousin said this guy was supposed to be extremely capable enough to solve the Jiang family's crisis. But the terrible mess her family was in now couldn't be solved by just any random person. Han Yen gripped her phone tightly, her heart cold and refusing to believe it could work. Her cousin had sent so many people to help before, and every single one of them went home a failure. This time would be the same. Her hands clenched so tight that veins started to pop. Even after so much disappointment, she wanted to try hoping one last time. But then again, her cousin had never once lied to her. She was the CEO of the Ouyang Chu group, after all. If she said the guy was incredibly skilled, then maybe, just maybe, it was true. Suddenly, Trin Niem's attitude flipped, showing a flicker of interest in this mystery man. Who was this Han Nien her cousin invited? And did she send pics? Han Yen, now a little curious herself, started scrolling through her phone. Let's see, my cousin just sent me a few pictures. She pulled up 3 photos, but all 3 were shots from behind. Not a single one showed his face, but you could just feel this intense, powerful vibe radiating off the guy. Trin Yem shoved her head over to see, then pouted, disappointed she couldn't see his face. Her friend could only force a laugh at her ridiculousness. Han Yen, it looks like your cousin only sent you her creeper shots of him. Suddenly, a new message notification popped up on the screen. Han Yen, this is a photo of Li Bafu's son from Van Chao. Don't pick up the wrong person. Both of them, totally hooked by the message, eagerly tapped it open. Let's see it. A picture of a studious-looking Tu Pham appeared. He was smiling gently, looking super friendly. Han Yen looked at the guy in the picture and couldn't help but feel something was odd. She held the phone closer for her friend to see. Niem, don't you think this Li Tu Pham looks a little like the guy in the photos from behind? Trin Niem heard this and reacted like it was the joke of the century, immediately shooting the idea down. Are you serious? Your cousin is the #1 female CEO of Sochao. Now look at this average country bumpkin. How could he possibly know your cousin? Hearing that, Han Yen relaxed a little. That's true, a poor guy from rural Van Chao. He couldn't even get close to my cousin Kwang Tam Sao. Even if you gave him 10 years to climb the ladder, he wouldn't even compare to her pinky finger. In the bustling crowd, a young man with striking platinum blonde hair was walking towards them, and the sight left Han Yen completely stunned. She hurried towards Tu Pham, her face cold and probing. Are you Li Tu Pham, the son of Li Bafu from Van Chao? Han Yen scanned him from head to toe. She couldn't help but scoff internally, carrying a tattered bag, just as I thought a true blue country bumpkin. He nodded politely as a greeting. That's me. Footsteps approached from behind, followed by a sharp, bossy voice. Hey, what took you so long to come out? Do you have any concept of time? Trin Yim stormed over, pointing a finger right in Tu Pham's face and yelling, do you have any idea that Han Yin and I have been waiting here for over 3 hours? What do you think our time is worth? Can't you show a little respect for other people? This is totally unacceptable, you know that? Her beautiful face twisted with rage. If my boyfriend wasn't also coming to Hanam province today, I wouldn't have bothered waiting for you here. His face was ice cold, his whole body giving off a deadly aura as he explained flatly. Something on the road delayed me. Looking at his appearance and attitude, Han Yen couldn't help but judge him. 3 hours late for a first meeting. This guy is completely unreliable. Maybe Niem was right. He came from rural Van Chao with some other agenda. She crossed her arms, her eyebrows furrowed as she prepared to lecture him. Li Tu Pham, you selfishly made us wait here for 3 entire hours. I was supposed to have a meeting with a company's CEO today to negotiate a deal. Because of you, I was late, and he left. Han Yen's face grew serious as she held out her hand. This was a nearly $10 million contract that you just ruined. Can you even afford to cover that loss? Tu Pham just smirked, completely unbothered by these two. It was just a small 10 million project, what's the big deal? Han Yen had only meant to scare Tu Pham a little, but now his words were seriously ticking her off. Ha! Listen to the big talk on this one, daring to say just a small 10 million? If you've got the guts, why don't you negotiate it for me? In front of everyone, he confidently patted his chest. Fine. I came to Han Nam this time to repay the life-saving favor my father owes Jiang Bafu. Hearing those last 2 words, she was a little taken aback. She thought she must have misheard. What? Did you say you came to repay a favor? Trin Yem, standing beside her, absolutely lost it, laughing uncontrollably. Repay a favor? A poor, raggedy kid from Van Chow, what could you possibly repay him with? Saying you're here to social climb makes way more sense. They looked down at the somewhat small Lian Yu. She put her hands on her hips, her disdain obvious. And he even dragged a little girl here, absolutely shameless. Suddenly, Han Yen remembered something, her expression turning dead serious as if struck by lightning. Wait a minute. I think I remember now. My father mentioned this to me once. He said that years ago, he and Li Bafu from Van Chow arranged a marriage for their children. That person is Li Taixuan. The thought made her want to collapse, but that was 20 years ago. This whole arranged marriage thing is totally outdated now. Looking at the slightly rustic boy in front of her, Han Yen broke into a cold sweat as thoughts raced through her mind. But my father is a man who values his promises greatly. If he agreed to it, he'd never go back on his word. Hanran bit her lip, her brows knitting together as a theory formed in her head. Could this Li Xiaofan guy just be here to freeload? Sure, the Jiang family might be down on its luck, but how could a broke nobody with zero connections ever be worthy of her? And he had the nerve to talk about repaying a favor? Unbelievable. Xiaofan, completely ignoring Hanran's increasingly sour expression, turned to her and said, "Take me to see Uncle Jiang. I want to thank him on behalf of my father." The moment he said that, Hanran's overactive imagination pictured Xiaofan groveling at her dad's feet like a little puppy. He just got here and already wants to see my father? Is he showing his true colors this fast? Her mood instantly plummeted as baseless assumptions flooded her mind. Humph, thank him in person? What a joke. Isn't he just after our Jiang family's fortune, trying to force a marriage? I'd literally die before marrying scum like him. Convinced of her own genius, Hanran stroked her chin, thinking up a plan. Give him an impossible task, make him back down on his own that way. Her father wouldn't get mad. Her whole attitude suddenly shifted. Li Xiaofan, didn't you just say you wanted to help me land that multi-million-dollar project negotiation? Well, here's your chance. Do it for me now. He calmly reviewed his own assets in his head, calculating. The Manhwa Hudong real estate project had already launched, and he had at least 10 million in capital himself. He could just hand over the 10 million, sure, but his father wanted him to solve the Jiang family's problems for good. With that thought, Xiaofan casually pointed and offered his help. Just tell me who it is. I'll handle the negotiation for you. Hanran puffed up her chest and declared, I'll scare you to death. It's a subsidiary of the Imperial Wang family. And just in case he was clueless, she kindly explained. You wouldn't understand. The Wangs are a major powerhouse family from the capital. Massive wealth, endless connections, she said, practically painting a picture of the giant, powerful Wang Group tower with her words. If we can just establish a relationship with the Wang family, my Jiang family could use this chance to rise up and become the top family in Henan again. Hearing this, Xiaofan couldn't help but smile as he pulled out his phone. Easy, someone from the Wang family was just begging me for my contact info. I'll call them now. Her jaw dropped like she'd been struck by lightning. Are you kidding me? But she quickly composed herself, waving a dismissive hand. The Wang family begging for your contact? You can't even brag convincingly. How shameless. Just then, Xiaofan's phone screen showed a call connecting to someone named Wang Yun. Suddenly, two delicate hands grabbed each other. Leaving Xiaofan on the phone behind them, Zheng Ran pulled her friend forward, whispering, Hanran, look at him putting on a show. Who does he think he's fooling? I've never seen someone so ridiculous, she added with a sneer. The Wang family begged for my contact info. Give me a break. Why not just claim you're the Secretary General of the United Nations? This is so unbelievably boring. Zheng Ran waved her hand, done with the whole thing. Come on, Hanran. The world's full of crazies. Don't stoop to the level of some ignorant loser. It's beneath you. Xiaofan stood behind them with Lian Yu, his phone to his ear. They both watched the two girls huddled together, whispering back and forth. I wonder what excuse he'll make when this falls through. Isn't it obvious? He'll claim the call didn't connect, or maybe that the signal was bad. I've met guys like him a million times. With a look of pure disgust, Hanran walked back over to him. So? How'd it go? What did your friend from the Wang family have to say? He honestly showed her the dark screen without hiding anything. The phone's off. Then Xiaofan casually slipped it back into his pocket. The fact that it happened exactly as Zheng Ran predicted made them both gloat. Hanran, see? What did I tell you? The other girl just shook her head with a scornful sigh. Ugh. The two of them started walking toward their car, ready to leave. Lian Yu, standing behind them, didn't get it. Master, these two women are so ungrateful. You're obviously here to help them, and they treat you like this. She clenched her fists, frowning. Let's just forget it. Let the Jiang family sink or swim on its own. He, on the other hand, couldn't care less. He just glanced over his shoulder indifferently. Don't worry about it. Ignorant ants only reveal their own inadequacy. The luxury sports car sped down the road. Inside, Zheng Ran shot a sarcastic look at the guy sitting in the back seat. Li Xiaofan, let me ask you something. The smooth hum of the engine mixed with her voice was frankly exhausting. I heard some Wall Street tycoon recently decided to launch a shocking new project, one that could seriously rock our country's stock market. What are your thoughts on that? A look of pure skepticism crossed Trin Yim's face. She just had to test Xiaofan, for Han Yen's sake. Was he actually smart, or just some vulgar oaf playing dumb? But our boy in the back? Arms crossed, not even bothering to open his eyes. A perfect picture of I could not possibly care less. That financial titan she was practically worshipping? In his mind, the guy was nothing more than an ant on the sidewalk. See, he was busy reminiscing about his past life, when he owned countless treasures and assets spanning more than 100 planets. Way too many to even count. This tiny little Earth was a joke to him, let alone some dinky financial group. Her jaw just about hit the floor at his words, and you could practically hear her teeth grinding in contempt. This jerk was such a braggart. No education, nothing in his head, but arrogant as all hell. It was truly unbelievable. But that didn't stop her. Oh no. She pressed right on with what she thought were incredibly clever questions. So, Li Xiaofan, if a corporation wants to go public, what preparations does it need? By now, Xiaofan's patience had evaporated. He simply gave a little shake of his head. And just like that, the car plunged into a thick, awkward silence. Everyone stared out a different window, lost in their own little dramas. Han Yen, her eyebrows practically knitted into a single line of fury, couldn't stand it any longer and whipped around to challenge him. Li Xiaofan, if you don't know a single thing, how dare you say you came to repay a debt? Is this a joke? Yeah, she wasn't exactly holding back. How about this? I buy you a ticket home right now, and I'll even throw in 200,000. You just leave Hannam right now, how about it? Trin Yim, sitting beside her, happily chimed in to pile on. Getting paid for doing nothing? A gift from the heavens like that? You'd better grab it while you can. Not getting the reaction she wanted, she turned around, covering her mouth to let out a nasty little laugh. Hey, not talking? Don't tell me 200,000 isn't enough for you? But Xiaofan didn't get angry at all. He just calmly raised a hand to explain. I don't lack money. I'm only here to repay a debt. As soon as I've repaid what I owe to Jiangbo Fu, you won't have to tell me to leave. I'll go on my own. His expression darkened, his eyes growing cold. As for your negotiation, just wait. They'll come begging you to sign that contract. Trin Nyim flew into a rage, glaring right at him. His total lack of ambition was making her lose what little patience she had left. I'm telling you, can't you country bumpkins have a little bit of dignity? They're a company managed by the Wang family of the imperial capital. Even my boyfriend's company wouldn't be sure they could land this deal. And you dare say they'll come begging to sign. Honestly, a shameless liar like you leaves me completely speechless. Han Nian, trying to concentrate on driving through all of this, let out a long, heavy sigh. Ugh, I wonder when the person my cousin invited is even going to get here. The Jiang family is in so much trouble if we can't sign this $10 million contract. Her words trailed off as her thoughts suddenly turned bleak. This time, the Jiang family might really be wiped off the map in Han Nam. As she was lost in that happy thought, a woman suddenly ran out in front of their car. A loud shout to get Han Yen's attention echoed through the vehicle. Stop the car! She snapped back to reality, her eyes wide as she saw what was happening. In a split second, Han Yen slammed her foot on the brake with everything she had. The car was forced to a sudden screeching halt. A crowd of onlookers started to gather around them almost immediately. Inside, Han Yen ducked down behind the steering wheel, peeking outside. What's going on? Why are so many people standing out there? In the back, Xiaofan opened his door and stepped out. Seeing him walk forward, she lost it and started yelling. Li Xiaofan, what are you doing getting out of the car? More people gathered to watch, but they all just stared apathetically at the girl lying motionless on the ground. Nobody lifted a finger to help. A young guy in the crowd asked the person next to him, why is she lying on the ground in the middle of the day? The other guy just scratched his head, completely clueless. Maybe she got heat stroke or something? As everyone watched with suspicion, Xiaofan started walking toward the girl. A few whispers broke out, as if offering some well-intentioned advice. Don't go over there, man. Watch out for scammers. She's probably just trying to trick people. He paid them no mind, walking straight toward the person on the pavement. Only then did Han Yen finally get out of the car, standing a few feet behind him. Instead of getting closer, she just stood her ground and shouted, Li Xiaofan, get back here right now. This person is obviously trying to pull a scam. Seeing that he was completely ignoring her, she slammed the car door shut, thoroughly annoyed. That stupid idiot. He just arrived in Han Nam. If he gets scammed here, guess who has to clean up the mess? From the passenger side, Trin Yim had also gotten out, crossing her arms to enjoy the show. People from the countryside just love to get involved in drama. This is none of his business. He'd better be careful not to get himself into trouble. Xiaofan ignored everyone and everything, bending down to help the person up as a little suspicion started to brew in his mind. Hold on, did he just feel a familiar celestial vibe coming off this woman? Even after he helped her up, she looked incredibly weak, breaking into a sweat before passing out cold. A crowd started to gather, and once they got a good look at the girl's face, their whole attitude shifted to one of instant regret. Whoa, she's an absolute knockout. If I'd known that, I would have been the one to help her. That kid gets all the luck. It's so infuriating. In Xiaofan's arms, Waika was slowly waking up, her face pale as she looked at her rescuer. Um, his handsome face just had this weirdly reassuring effect on people. Are you okay? He helped her stand, but she was so unsteady she fell right back into his arms. Sweat was just pouring down her face like a river. Thank you for helping me. Xiaofan then placed his hands on her shoulders, channeling his Tai Swan energy into her. In that moment, Waika's face immediately flushed with color, looking vibrant and unbelievably overjoyed. My body is suddenly so warm. Xiaofan stood beside her and said softly, You're all better now. She was clutching something, looking shyly at the guy who had just saved her. Thank you. That little energy transfer had also allowed him to scan her body, but something felt off. Xiaofan glanced around, trying to find what it was. Turns out, that celestial energy wasn't coming from her at all, so where the heck was it coming from? He was about to walk back to his car when a voice called out, Please wait a moment. Xiaofan casually turned his head, curious. Is there something else? The beautiful woman looked a bit flustered as she held out the box she'd been hugging. Well, sir, I have this antique family heirloom vase. Would you like to take a look? The price is negotiable. Just then, Han Ran appeared from behind, a full-on sneer plastered across her face as she looked at them. So, what did I tell you? You just ran into a scam artist. Only a complete idiot like you would fall for that. Zheng Ran also hurried over, not even trying to hide her smug satisfaction. He didn't listen to her warnings, so now he was about to get scammed. Serves him right. The nosy onlookers started whispering among themselves, already convinced she was just after his money. This girl was definitely trying to pull a scam. This kid is in for it today. He won't be able to leave without coughing up some cash. I totally called it. No gorgeous woman just faints in the street like that. She obviously specializes in tricking clueless guys like him. At that point, Han Ran pretended she was going to solve the problem. Li Xiaofan, the best thing to do now is call the police. This isn't about the money. People with no morals like her have to be punished. Otherwise, she'll just go out and scam someone else. Her best friend, standing right there, quickly chimed in, backing her up completely. Exactly. There's no reason to be polite with someone like that. Letting her off easy will only make her bolder. Hearing their conversation, a frustrated Waika frantically shook her head, trying to clear her name. You've all misunderstood. I'm not a scammer. As she spoke, she gently started to unwrap the cloth around the box. I just really need the money right now. This antique isn't a fake. My father left it to me. When the old wooden box was opened, a very ancient-looking vase appeared. It was covered in a faint, pale yellow celestial aura, which looked a little strange. Seeing the time-worn vase only made Hanran more confident in her own judgment. Did you pull that old piece of junk out of the trash, and you actually dare to sell it? Zheng Ran stepped forward, pointing at the box with contempt. I bet you lie in the street on purpose just to scam people, don't you? The two of them were obviously ganging up on her. Waika was so intimidated by them she started to stammer. I really didn't mean to lie in the street. She kept trying to explain about her heirloom to everyone. Besides, if I wasn't desperate for money, I would never sell it. Meanwhile, Xiaofan was staring at that vase, his expression turning grim and a little unsettling. That faint celestial energy radiating from it made him a little uncertain. Supreme celestial vision. Xiaofan's eyes flew open, staring intently at the vase. A pale blue spiritual energy flared to life in his pupils as he mentally commanded, "Open." He could suddenly see right through the old vase. Inside was a strange gourd surrounded by a powerful spiritual aura. Seeing the sight before him, he secretly celebrated like he'd just hit the jackpot. So the faint energy was hidden inside a tiny gourd. Wei Ka ignored the two girls still harassing her and stepped toward Xiaofan, pleading quietly. If you really want this vase, 10,000. No, 5,000? 5,000 is more than enough. A look of joy he hadn't shown in a long time spread across his face. I'll buy your antique vase. He pulled out a valuable checkbook, quickly wrote down a number, then took the box and started rewrapping it. When Wai Ka got the check and saw the number, she was so shocked she nearly jumped. What? 100,000 yuan? She hurried over, honestly trying to refuse such a huge amount of money. That's way too much. I don't need all that. Just give me 5,000 back for your balance. Xiaofan just cheerfully waved his hand, refusing to take the money. Just keep the change. Hearing that, EK looked a little awkward, but hey, who says no to free cash? Alright, don't worry, I'll definitely pay you back the rest. Can I just get your contact info? She pulled out her phone, tapping in the details he gave her. The name's Li Xiaofan. Watching this super-fast transaction go down made Han Ran and her buddies so annoyed they were literally speechless. With business concluded, our heroes hopped back in the car, which peeled out under the girl's oh-so-grateful stare. The second they were moving, Han Ran started laying into him. Li Xiaofan? Seriously, Li Xiaofan, did it not occur to you that she was a complete scam artist? It was so obvious. That was the clumsiest little act I've ever seen, and you fell for it, spending all that money on a crusty old vase. I honestly don't even know what to say. Seeing him just sit there, quietly hugging his little box without a word, was driving her up the wall. And even if it was real, she only needed 5,000. You could have just given her 5,000 and been done with it. Why did you have to give her so much extra? And a check, really? Who do you think you are? Some kind of big shot. Deep down, she was just chanting on a loop. This guy is a world-class idiot. And the worst part is he thinks he's a genius, an absolute lost cause. She decided right then she had to find a way to ditch him, and fast. Zhang Ran, sitting beside her, decided to chime in. You really think you've got some magic power to spot a genuine antique just by looking? I wouldn't take that piece of junk if you paid me. Outside, the sky was a lovely blue, with fluffy clouds and sunbeams gently warming a fancy villa. The four of them tromped inside together. Hanran, still on her high horse, was not done with her nasty comments. Li Xiaofan, I know exactly why you're here. She stopped right in front of a door. She paused for dramatic effect, a smug little smirk on her face. But your little plan has failed. Because my father is at the hospital right now, so even if you wanted to see him, you can't. And with that, she threw open the door and waltzed in. Xiaofan trailed in after her, back to looking like he couldn't care less about anything, and surprised two people were waiting right in the middle of the room. Han Ran stopped dead. Dad? Weren't you guys supposed to be at the hospital for treatment? What are you doing home? A woman named Xin Yue looked pained, frowning as she said her niece's name, Han Ran. But the man sitting in the chair simply waved his hand, cutting her off. Zhang Shui, radiating big-time elder energy, just smiled and turned his head. He sized up the young man standing there. Then he calmly asked his daughter, Han Ran, I asked you to go to the station to pick up Uncle Li's son. Is this him? Her face soured. Instead of answering, she shuffled over to her dad to whisper furiously in his ear. But Zhang Shui didn't even let her finish, just smiling and raising a hand to stop the whisper campaign. So you had to wait a little while. Is that it? Don't tell me you're this angry over something so small. And that contract is no big deal either. If we can negotiate, great. If not, whatever. And with that, he stood up from his chair. Zhang Shui walked right up to the boy, like he was trying to get a clearer look, his voice polite but calm. You must be Chengshan's son, Li Xiaofan? No wonder you looked familiar. You're the spitting image of your father. Suddenly, Zhang Shui got all emotional, grinning and grabbing Xiaofan's head and just shaking it. A lot. Look how handsome you've gotten. You know, when you were just a baby, I used to hold you. He stepped back, and his eyes landed on a bag the kid was carrying. Wait a minute, isn't that the suitcase I gave your father 5 years ago? I can't believe he's kept it all these years. At this, Xiaofan bowed deeply, respectfully introducing himself. Hello, Uncle Jiang. I'm Li Xiaofan. My father told me more than once about your incredible kindness. I've come to Han Nan this time to repay that debt. Looking at this man brought back a flood of terrifying memories for the kid. Years ago, his parents were being hunted by his mother's family, and it was Uncle Jiang who risked everything to save his father. Zhang Shui just laughed and clapped him on the shoulder, clearly already a fan of this guy. Your father is too kind. It was nothing, not even worth mentioning. But from behind them, Xin Yue's voice cut through the happy reunion like a knife. So you're Li Xiaofan. If my older brother hadn't saved your father, he never would have been beaten half to death. He's still not fully recovered, you know. With everyone in the room staring, she didn't let up. She shot him a nasty glare and continued her list of accusations. And besides, because of you people, the Jiang family's power completely collapsed. We went from being the #1 family in Hannan to a third-rate clan, and it's all your fault. Every one of Xin Yue's harsh words hung in the air, pulling the mood down into the dirt, all of it aimed squarely at the boy's father. I can't believe you have the nerve to come back. The Jiang family doesn't welcome you, so get lost before you bring your bad luck with you. Meanwhile, Hanren was just soaking it all in, a smug little smirk plastered right on her face. She never wanted Li Xiaofan here to begin with, and her two aunts just said exactly what she was thinking. But all this made Zhang Shui absolutely furious with his sister. Little sister, how many times have I told you? You need to watch what you say. Why do you never listen? Her face soured with every single word of his lecture. Look at you, almost 40 years old and still not married. All that good fortune you have, you've completely ruined it with that toxic mouth of yours. Zhang Shui had zero problem dressing Tam and Guiyet down in front of everyone. If Xiaofan traveled 1,000 miles to see me, then he is our honored guest. We should be treating him like royalty, not trying to throw him out. And just to prove his point, he clenched his fist, his words booming with a thunderous finality. Besides, I willingly saved Brother Than's son all those years ago, and even now, I don't have a single complaint. But maybe all that righteous fury was too much for him, because Zhang Shui suddenly started to tremble, his face turning purple as he coughed. Cough, cough! When he pulled his hand away, it was covered in a shocking splash of red. Hanren, totally freaked out by the sight, rushed over to check on him. Dad, why are you coughing up so much blood? Is your sickness getting worse again? She watched the blood drip from her father's mouth, her voice laced with anguish. Auntie, Dad's obviously not better, so why did you guys leave the hospital? The aunt just stood to one side, head down, and struggled to get the story out. Hanren, your father wouldn't let me say. But the truth is, the hospital kicked us out. She carefully helped Zhong Shui get steady, her mind reeling with confusion. Dad, why on earth would the hospital kick you guys out? You're so seriously ill. If this keeps up, your body isn't going to be able to handle it. And yeah, at this point, he looked like he was about to collapse. His face was pale, his whole body shaking as he coughed endlessly. Cough, cough. Xiaofan, who'd been silently watching this whole drama unfold, finally spoke up. Uncle Jiang, is your sickness a side effect from 20 years ago? Zhang Shui's face was purple, one hand gripping his shirt as he kept coughing, unable to get a word out. Cough, cough, cough. As his shirt fell open, it revealed a bright red handprint seared onto his chest. He then calmly began to tell the old story. That's right. The person who hunted your mother 20 years ago was a master from her own clan. His techniques are sinister, strange, and unbelievably vicious. That year, I was careless enough to take a palm strike from him. This dark energy has been inside my body ever since, and nothing can cure it. Cough, cough. And looking closely, you could tell that wound had never healed. It was now a dark, bloody color, surrounded by painful-looking blue and purple bruises. Zhang Shui leaned forward to ease his cough, his voice tinged with sorrow. Now, 20 years have passed. His power has surely grown even stronger. While I am like a candle in the wind, my life just hanging by a thread. Cough, cough. Suddenly, he clutched his chest, coughing violently as a wisp of black, evil energy began to rise from the wound. Cough, cough. With every spasm, mouthfuls of dark red blood practically rained from his lips. And then, as everyone watched in horror, he passed out. Dad, wake up. Please, Dad, wake up. That demonic energy kept spreading, and seeing his weak face, she cried out in despair. Somebody, call the hospital now. Watching this absolute chaos, Xiaofan, who was standing right there, decided to speak up. Uncle Jiang's sickness. I can cure it. Tam Nugiet, predictably, was enraged by his words. What did you say? You can cure it? Li Xiaofan, you must be joking. The best doctors in Henan province couldn't even cure my brother's illness. So how are you going to cure him? Are you a doctor? Xiaofan just shook his head. I'm not. Hanran, still holding her father, shot him an annoyed look. Li Xiaofan, if you aren't a doctor, then it's best you don't cause any more trouble, okay? Then, with perfect dramatic timing, the wooden door burst open. A servant from the Jiang family skids into the room, totally out of breath, shouting the big news. Master, someone's here to see you. They say they can cure your chronic illness. He leans in close to Tam and Guiyet and spills the beans on who this mystery person is. And wouldn't you know it, her face just lights up with pure, disbelieving joy as she asks again. Did you say a successor from Medicine King Valley is here? Tam Nugiet immediately starts barking orders. Well, what are you waiting for? Help the master to the bedroom. She then gives her niece a smug little look and says sweetly, Hanran, what are you spacing out for? The Medicine King's heir is almost here. Go with your aunt and welcome him. They say the heir of the Medicine King is a direct disciple from the reclusive Medicine King Valley. He can definitely cure my brother's chronic illness. Yao Jing appeared, fan in hand and looking all high and mighty, with Tum Weert trailing behind him, practically bowing with flattery. Master Yao, you've agreed to treat my brother's old ailment. The entire Jiang family was endlessly grateful. He closed his eyes, his voice dripping with arrogance. It's nothing. My master ordered me to train down in the mountains, and I just happened to pass by. I heard the Jiang master's illness hasn't healed in 20 years, so I came to bestow a great fortune upon your family. Spotting the beautiful woman beside him, Yao Jing just had to lay on the charm. I've long heard the eldest young daughter is a true beauty, and seeing you today, the rumors don't do you justice. Han Ran's smile widened as she replied politely, Master Yao, you're too kind. The three of them then swaggered into the room with an air of complete self-importance. Yao Jing eyed the person before him curiously. Who is this? Xiaofan just gave a gloomy look, while Lian Yu stuck her tongue out and made a face at them. Afraid of upsetting this precious VIP, Tumweir quickly jumped in to explain the situation. Master Yao, he's the son of my brother's friend from the countryside of Yunzhou, here seeking our family's help. What's worse, this brat isn't a doctor at all, yet he had the nerve to claim he could cure my brother. What utter nonsense. She shot him a look dripping with contempt. Turns out, this kid just brought bad luck with him. The moment he walked in the door, my brother's condition got even worse. Hearing this, Yao Jing's expression turned cold, a sarcastic smirk on his lips. To think the Jiang family was once considered a first-class clan. Now you've fallen so low you're letting some country bumpkin treat your master? If word got out, you'd be an absolute laughingstock. Xiaofan just stood there calmly, silently watching this guy get on his high horse and start barking orders. Get him out of here. When I, the Medicine King's heir, practice medicine, I won't be disturbed by irrelevant nobodies. Like an obedient puppy, Tom Ware immediately stomped over, pointing a finger in his face and yelling, Li Xiaofan, did you hear Master Yao? Get out of here right now. If you delay Master Yao's treatment for my brother, I don't care if you're Li Changshan's son. Don't blame the Jiang family for being rude to you. These outrageous words finally made Lian Yu snap, and she fired right back at her. You rotten hag. How dare you disrespect my master like that? Don't you come crying later, begging him to save you all. But Tom Weert, who clearly had no idea who she was talking to, just scoffed and gave an order. Me? Crying and begging him for help? Country folk sure do say the funniest things. Li Xiaofan, you and your father are a curse on our Jiang family. Guards, what are you waiting for? Drag this kid out of here for me. The moment she finished, two burly servants advanced on Xiaofan. Seeing things get tense, Han Ran went to her aunt's side to quietly reason with her. Aunt, please stop. Li Xiaofan is father's guest after all. If you throw him out like this, then when father wakes up, he'll say you were a terrible host. Hearing this, Yao Jing softened his tone, deciding to let it slide. Since Miss Jiang has spoken up for him, I won't bother with this brat. Let's save the patient first. Tum Weert quickly gestured for him to follow. Yes, saving him is what's important. Master Yao, please come inside. Meanwhile, Zhong Shui was lying on the bed, his brows knitted tightly, his complexion looking absolutely awful. A strange black aura poured endlessly from his wound, covering his whole body. As they approached, Yao Jing pulled back his shirt to examine the injury. From behind his back, he produced a glittering golden needle, then placed it in an acupuncture point near Zhong Shui's wound. The Jiang family master's heart was attacked by yin poison, and this type of poison is extremely aggressive. An ordinary doctor could never cure this. The weak, poison-covered heart seemed to slowly recover with each needle he placed. With a look of arrogant confidence, Yao Jing flicked his fan, sending dozens of needles flying out. They glowed with a green spiritual energy. But in the eyes of me, the Medicine King's heir, what's so hard about a little yin poison? The needles plunged directly into the patient's chest, releasing a pale, golden energy that began pushing back the blackness of the poison. He watched everything unfold exactly as planned and couldn't help but feel a surge of delight. My chi-guiding needle technique, combined with the secret divine cinnabar skill my master taught me, can pull the Jiang master back even if he has 1 foot in the grave. Seeing Zhong Shui on the bed with his eyes still closed, but looking less pained than before, Tame Weir and Han Ran were overjoyed. Han Ran, the yin poison is being drawn out of your father. Master Yao can definitely cure him. Han Ran watched the poison fade with the golden light and couldn't stop herself from wiping away tears. Father is saved. Tam Nguyen couldn't help but look at Xiaofan, her voice dripping with pure sarcasm. Li Xiaofan, are you watching? This is what a true heir of the Medicine King can do. Now look at you, standing there all clueless and dopey. The idea of you talking about healing people is just hilarious. Suddenly, someone snapped their fan shut and yelled, "Retract!" The needles in Zhong Shui's wounds pulled out on their own, and that black, evil energy immediately swarmed back into his body. Watching this whole mess unfold, Han Yen couldn't help but furrow her brow. Master Du, the poison in my dad still isn't totally gone. Why'd you just stop? His lips curled into a smirk that screamed bad news as he spoke. Miss Jiang, there's no such thing as a free lunch in this world. Du Qin flicked his fan open, his gaze turning all sorts of creepy as he eyed her. I can save your father, but I have a few conditions. Han Yen, thinking this was all very simple, puffed out her chest confidently. Are you talking about medical fees? As long as you can cure my father, I'll pay whatever it takes. His expression went ice cold, a nasty glint of greed flashing in his eyes. So small, so simple. Then the guy closed his eyes, pointed a finger, and started rambling dramatically. I have 2 demands. First, from this day forward, the Jiang family belongs to my Medicine King Valley. Second, you, Miss Jiang, must become my woman. He said this while gesturing toward Trong Thui's wound, a clear threat. And if you dare refuse, I'll yank back my divine green needle right now. And whether your father's body can handle that poison without it, well, who's to say? It hit her like a lightning bolt. Her face went purple with rage, her hands balling into tight fists. You're doing this on purpose, stopping the treatment halfway just to back us into a corner so we have no choice but to agree to your disgusting terms. Dukin stood before them, shamelessly admitting everything. Ha ha ha. And so what if I am? In fact, I'm the one who had you kicked out of the hospital. Without a nod from my medicine king Valley, who in this city would dare even treat you? His face was a mask of pure greed for Han Yen as he rubbed his hands together like a cartoon villain. Miss Jiang, don't you want to restore your family to its #1 spot? Become my woman, and you can make that dream a reality. Otherwise, without my divine green needle, you'll just have to watch as that poison eats your father alive, a horribly painful and tragic death. Ha ha! A glance at the bed confirmed his threat. Trong Thui was in a deep coma, a dark aura swirling around him. Whatever color he'd regained was already gone. Tam and Guyet stood nearby, her face a mask of pure anxiety. She had no idea what to do. Han Yen, what's the plan? We can't just leave your father's treatment half-finished. She looked down at her father, writhing in pain, bit her lip, and made a silent, terrible decision. For her father, for her family, she would make the sacrifice. But then, a voice suddenly shattered Du Qin's perfect scheme, making everyone whip their heads around. You useless heir of the medicine king. You can't even treat a simple sickness right. There stood Tu Pham, an icy look on his face. No one had even seen him come in. The second Tam Nuyet saw him, she lost it and started screaming, Li Tu Pham, what garbage are you spewing? Who do you think you are, talking trash to Master Du? At her words, Du Qin's face got even smarmier, if that was even possible. Apologize to Master Du right now. Can you even handle the consequences? He added darkly. Kid, you must be new here. You dare say that again? Tu Pham repeated himself, nice and slow, with an extra helping of mockery. Did I stutter? You can't even treat a simple sickness. A scornful smile played on his lips. Turns out this guy was just a common con artist. That clearly hit a nerve. Du Qin suddenly got all worked up. You dare say my treatment was wrong? As he spoke, you could almost picture it. A little kid bowing down to some grand master. Since childhood, I've trained under the great master of medicine, King Valley. I've studied medicine for more than 20 years. When it comes to medicine, besides my own master, my skills are second to none, Du Qin pointed, his brow furrowed in a dramatic pout. And who the hell are you to question my skills? Tu Pham watched this little tantrum, too bored to even answer. Lian Yu, standing nearby, covered her mouth to hide a giggle. Well, master, according to him, you're wrong. Hearing that, Du Qin got all smug. See? Even this little girl is smarter and understands more than you do. The second he finished speaking, she cut in. Which means his medicine king master must be the really useless one. While he stood there stunned, Lian Yu was howling with laughter, adding that he wasn't even as good as a dog. Hearing this, Han Yen burst out laughing too, making the guy's face turn beet red. Ha ha ha. Du Qin was choking on his own rage, pointing a shaky finger at her and stammering. You dare insult my master? This is about the honor of the entire Medicine King Valley. Sweating with pure fury, he pointed at Tu Pham. You said my treatment was wrong, didn't you? If I cure him, on top of my other two conditions, you will get on your knees and beg my entire school for forgiveness. Du Qin was radiating pure contempt as he flicked his fan open, all triumphant. Do you dare to bet? Tu Pham's low voice shot back the challenge. And what if you can't cure him? Du Qin was obviously taking the bait, his brow furrowing as he started channeling his energy. Model. Green needles zipped around the guy. Me? Fail to heal someone? Don't be ridiculous. I mean, he's the heir to the Medicine King, you guys. What you just saw was a tiny preview. He claims he can fix this little problem in like a second, sporting a smile that screamed, I'm amazing. He faced the patient and jammed those needles right into the wound. Watch closely, you mutt. Then he yells, Dan Qing Gui Yuan art. And what do you know? The patient's face got some color back. A green glow started sucking out the bad juju, and the gross black smoke was replaced by our hero's pure energy. And boom, the Jiang family head was cured. It looked like it took a serious toll on his inner power or whatever. Miao Jing theatrically fanned himself, wiping a single bead of sweat. Just keep using my pills long term, and I personally guarantee he'll never be bothered by that pesky poison again. He'll even get his old mojo back, bit by bit. Hearing this, Hanran went full-on overjoyed, with tears streaming down her perfect face. She clasped her hands, thanking Miao Jing profusely. This is amazing. With Dad cured, the Jiang family can finally reclaim its former, vaguely defined glory. Then he whipped his head around to Xiaofan, voice dripping with smugness. Well, kid? I fixed him. Got anything to say? You'd better get on your knees and beg for my forgiveness. Xiaofan just stood there, arms crossed, looking thoroughly unimpressed. Curing him? I think you're trying to kill him. The healer puffed out his chest, completely sure of himself. What was that? How dare you slander me? I obviously just cured the Jiang family master. And before our genius healer could even finish his sentence, the guy on the bed starts coughing like crazy, a black aura erupting. Way worse than before. Cough, cough, cough. The room went silent, struck by lightning. He stared back, unable to believe his eyes. What the? Zhang Shui shot up in bed, awake and in agony, clutching his chest. Ah! It hurts, ah! Hanran was freaking out next to him, totally useless. Dad, what's happening? Dad, snap out of it. Seeing her dad's face, she whipped her head toward Miao Jing, demanding answers. Master Miao, didn't you say he was cured? What is this? The so-called master started shaking, his voice cracking. This can't be. My divine needles definitely cured him. Why is this happening? That's when Xiaofan strode forward, shoved him aside, and said, Move. His assistant, Lian Yu, followed with a box. With a flick of his wrist, the bandages unraveled. An ancient bottle floated up next to him. Xiaofan calmly explained, I checked this out earlier with my supreme immortal eye. This gourd is a handy little artifact. He narrowed his eyes, focusing, as a golden aura of spiritual energy flared up around him. Bam! The ancient bottle shattered, revealing a gourd just pulsating with rich golden energy. Thing looked expensive. Xiaofan looked down at the object in his hand, which was now radiating some serious power. He thought to himself, a little pleased. This thing looks tiny, but it's basically a universe in a bottle. Not only can it hold a pocket dimension, it can also purify anything, perfect for dealing with the nasty poison in my uncle's body. He then aimed the gourd at the festering wound and shouted, All right, drink up. Instantly, all the black gunk swirled into a vortex and shot towards the gourd. Lian Yu watched this, getting weirdly excited about the whole thing. Master, this poison is some seriously high-grade stuff. Whoever's behind this is no amateur demon. If I could just absorb this guy, I could totally level up again. I might even reach the heavenly demon realm. Xiaofan put the artifact away. You'll get your chance. We'll go when this is done. Then he casually tossed it to her. Here, take it. Lian, you practically squealed, jumping up to catch it with both hands. Thank you, master. Just then, Zhang Shui sat up, looking a bit dazed, and the gaping wound on his chest had completely vanished. Hanran saw this and immediately knelt by the bed, hugging him. Oh, thank goodness Dad's awake. Xinyue stood nearby, unable to hide her feelings, and asked softly, Big brother, do you feel any discomfort anywhere else? Then her gaze hit Xiaofan, her attitude flipping. No gratitude, just pure disgust. How did this guy, Li Xiaofan, get so lucky? I can't believe he actually healed my big brother. Meanwhile, Zhang Shui sat up, tested his limbs, and cheered. This is amazing! I'm totally healed! My body's never felt this light and comfortable before. He walked over and put a grateful hand on the kid's shoulder. Xiaofan, back when your parents got together, villains stood in their way. Your father was powerless, filled with sorrow. But look at you now. My old friend Changshan raised a fantastic son. But to interrupt this touching father figure moment, Lian Yu stepped in front of Miao Jing, who was trying to sneak out. Going somewhere? She pointed at him, her voice pure mockery. Master, this shameless loser was trying to sneak out. Trong Thui glared at him, his voice dripping with accusation. Master Yao, and here we were, the Jiang family, treating you like an honored guest. You use our hospitality to bully my family and even threaten my daughter, and you think you can just leave without an explanation? But getting caught didn't faze Yao Jing one bit. Yeah? He smirked. So what if I threatened you, Jiang Trongthui? I dare you to touch me. Just so you know, the medicine king, Bai Chu Shui, happens to be my master. Then he really laid it on thick, threatening Trong Tui. Go ahead, make a move if you want to bring total destruction down on the Jiang family. Behind them, Zhong Yue got all nervous and started whispering. Big brother, Master Bai is a being who exists above all the great houses in Han Nan. His wisdom is supreme, you could call him a god. Even the #1 family in Han Nan, the Songs, are nothing but trash in his eyes. He could destroy them with a flick of his wrist. Our family is weak right now. We absolutely cannot mess with him. Though his hands were shaking with rage, Trong Tui totally caved. If you really are Master Bai's prize student, then just go. Knowing everyone was scared of his connections, Yao Jing got real cocky. A bunch of little mice, scared silent by my master's reputation. The fact that I'm even interested in your daughter should be an honor for you all. And you still act all high and mighty around me? You've got a death wish. and with that he pointed right at Trong Thui and let him have it. Weren't you, Jiang Trong Tui, just acting like you were going to deal with me? Why is it you're too scared to even fart now? In front of my master, you people are worse than ants. My master could crush you all just by lifting his hand. The old man couldn't fight back, just cursed him under his breath. What a jerk. That pathetic surrender made the guy smile, and he turned to leave. But whoops, Lian, you blocked his path. He ordered the little girl to move, but a voice from behind spoke up. Did I say you could leave? Hearing that, Yao Jing whipped his head around. You bastard, what did you just say? The kid walked closer, his expression pure ice. Are you deaf? Didn't you hear me? Then, he suddenly slapped him right across the face. Yao Jing got knocked off balance by the blow, immediately crashing into a wooden table behind him. He was on the floor, holding his head and whining, but still running his mouth. You dare hit me? Are you crazy? Don't you know my master is the great Bai Chu Shui? Xiaofan grabbed Yao Jing by the collar, his hand raised for another smack. So what if I hit you? His anger was clearly building. Even if your master were here, he would be kneeling before me, begging for forgiveness. Yao Jing saw that cold look and got a little scared, but his mouth kept on going. You psycho! You're actually insulting my master. Before he could finish, Xiaofan mercilessly threw him back on the floor. Me insulting him? That's an honor for him. Not satisfied yet, he gave an order. Didn't we make a bet earlier? Kneel for me. Seeing this, Xin Yue ran over to stop it. Stop. Li Xiaofan, you stop right now. Do you realize you're about to bring total ruin upon the Jiang family? You've caused a catastrophe for us, do you get that? Shinran jumped in on the verbal beatdown too. Li Xiaofan, you're being too reckless. You hit Master Bai's student, so when he comes looking for payback, that debt is going to fall on our family. But our hero was totally unfazed, and even shot back at the two of them. You narrow-minded women? How could you possibly know what level of being you're facing? Even if Bai Chu Shui came here, he would obediently kneel at my feet and beg for forgiveness. Xin Yue's blood rushed to her head. You shut your mouth. How dare you disrespect Master Bai? He is a supreme being, not for you to look down on. Xiaofan didn't even listen, just kicked Yao Jing so hard he went flying out the door. Then he added one more thing. If you ever use some pathetic master's name to act like a tyrant again, I'll take your life. The guy was in so much pain he just passed out. That's when Lian Yu went over and found 2 glass vials on him. Master, this guy has some pretty good stuff. Xin Yue pointed at Lian Yu and screamed, Put that down! Don't you dare touch Master Yao's things! Then she turned to her brother. Her voice was frantic. Big brother, I think we have to take Li Xiaofan to Medicine King Valley right now. Apologize to Master Bai. Let the master deal with him. Otherwise, before she could finish, Trong Thui cut her off. Enough. Then he turned and stared daggers at Xin Yue. If you say another word like that, you can get out of this house. The Jiang family has no place for ungrateful, faithless people like you. A master might be scary, but integrity is more important. Xiaofan is the man who saved our family. How dare you suggest we hand him over? After that lecture, Trong Thui turned to his daughter for another one. And you, Shinran, how many times have I told you, a person needs to have principles to see the bigger picture? You are now the chairwoman of the Jiang Group Corporation, aren't you? You don't even understand basic human decency? How am I supposed to trust you to manage the corporation like this? Getting chewed out, Han Yin just had to snap right back at the old man. But Dad, don't you forget, you only got that wound saving Li Xiaofan's father. If it weren't for that, he'd have to save you anyway. Isn't that just what he's supposed to do? We don't owe this guy a thing. And just like that, Tam Nguyen jumped in, demanding they deal with Xiaofan. Big brother, I think Han Yin is absolutely right. Even if we don't hand this kid over to the master, we have to kick him out, fast. That way, when Master Tran comes looking for someone to blame, we'll have an answer. But Trong Tui wouldn't budge, firing back at the 2 women. What do you 2 know about the bond between me and Li Xiaofan's father? You only know I was seriously hurt saving him, but you don't know the whole story. Li Xiaofan's father was also the great benefactor of our Jiang family. Then came the flashback, as he gratefully retold the whole tale. Back when our Jiang family was just starting out, absolutely nobody gave us the time of day. His voice cracked with emotion, recalling that it was Li Xiaofan's father who did the right thing and loaned him 20,000 yuan. Picture this. Xiaofan's dad, 20 years ago, generously handing over that huge sum. A normal worker's salary was barely 600 or 700 yuan back then. That 20,000 was money Xiaofan's father scraped together by skipping meals and patching up old clothes, just so he could lend it to me. He then turned to his daughter to really drive the point home. At that time, Han Yun's mother had died in childbirth, you were still in diapers, and we didn't even have money for milk. Hearing her dad say that, she was stunned into silence, with absolutely no comeback. Back then, if Li Xiaofan's father hadn't emptied his pockets to do the honorable thing, would we even be here today? Not a chance. He continued his story, defiant. After all these years, how could we just forget our benefactor? Something that ungrateful? I, Jiang Trong Tui, will not do it, he said, waving his hand to confirm his resolve. So from now on, if anyone dares to talk about kicking Li Xiaofan out, they can get out themselves. The Jiang family doesn't need such wicked people. After that big speech, Trong Thui couldn't take it anymore and broke into a violent coughing fit. Seeing this, Xiaofan rushed over to check on him. Uncle Jiang, don't be angry. Please rest easy. As long as I'm here, no one in this world will dare to touch the Jiang family. He looked up, trying to act like he was fine. Xiaofan, it's good that you feel that way. I won't ask anything more of you. Tam and Guyet scoffed sarcastically. Protect us for a lifetime of peace and prosperity? Aren't you afraid of getting struck by lightning for saying that? Not wanting things to escalate, Trong Tui quickly changed the subject. All right, that's enough of that. Let's talk about something more cheerful. Xiaofan, remember that you and Han Nian were engaged before you were even born, and you're not children anymore. Hearing this, a blushing Han Nian ran to stop him. Dad, I didn't know about that, and I definitely don't agree to it. There are no feelings between us. Trong Tui just kept his cheerful tone. That's fine, feelings can grow over time. Then his voice suddenly turned serious, his words firm as iron. But no matter what,